Welcome everybody to the Thursday Night Forum. You're all welcome here. This is Arsenal Fan Circle. Pull up a chair, and there's some discussion about movies here. BX is glad that he saw the notice. He was about to go to bed early. I got a movie ready and everything, and so I was saying, what's better than an Arsenal thriller? Gary can attest to that. An Arsenal thriller or something else. And they're talking about True Grit, but really, you could attribute any movie title to Arsenal and make it work some way somehow. You know what I mean? So Arsenal have ways of creating drama, creating comedy, creating horror, and creating thrillers.
True Grit is controversial for me. The original one with John Wayne,
Yeah.
because he should have never won the Oscar. There was two other actors in a different movie. What's different? As Cowboy in the title.
All right, we got Tony's 2 cents worth on that movie. Gary, how you doing, Gary?
I'm doing good. Yeah,
Um,
I'm doing good.
Yeah, a little bit of Arsenal drama before the holidays kick into full gear. I think for some people, they're starting to already kick into full gear. And how's Arsenal doing, Gary? Are they kicking into full gear yet?
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not until. I mean, won't know really until January, anyways. You gotta.
I mean,
Gotta see
not
it.
all parts of the machine are kicking into full gear for me.
We're seeing glimpses. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a bit of a ways to go to where like
We have a Christmas. We have a Christmas preview of the holiday movies that are coming out, Tony.
Mm.
As you would say in the UK, we have a rebuilt gearbox, which gearboxes are they're very iffy when they're rebuilt, right?
Yeah.
And that being our midfield, so
Right. Definitely. All right.
and the lack of a proper striker, which
Yeah.
Tella refuses to have.
Yeah, there's a lot to get into tonight. I didn't have a show on Sunday following that draw at Fulham. And, with time and hours passing by and days passing by, Gary, you tend to sort of look at it in the whole context of where we are right now. And you feel maybe I start to talk to myself a little bit about feeling a little bit better about the draw in the full context of the 4 games, is 3 wins and a draw that we've had in the league now. And then we continue that with, the win against Monaco. But there's lots of ways to look at this, of course, Gary, but when we're looking at it, as you said, as Tony said, there's really only one player that's really performing for us right now, and that's the player who got 2 goals last night against Monaco.
Yeah.
It's been our most not even. It's funny because yes, he is. I mean, our most consistent player actually has been, I think, Partey, because he's surprised all of us in terms of his availability and kind of his function and all of that. So, but not. I don't know if it's second, but definitely the lead guy on the squad is Saka. So yeah, he has been there whenever we needed him. Big games, small games, it doesn't matter, right? Everybody's talking about, does he score in the big games? Well, he scored. He opened the scoring up for Liverpool, right? Will he score and get like multiple goals in a game? Well, guess what? He did that too. He got three goal contributions in one game. I think it's the best for the season right now. So yeah, he's been getting consistently better. I think he should already be there, but he's getting there every season. He seems like they've got him on a slow trajectory. I think we need him to just blow up, basically. And
we don't want him to do that, Gary. We're just having car conversations.
I don't know about what you're talking about, but we need him to blow up anyways. And
blow up in a good way.
Yeah, well, well, Tony doesn't know that. He
Blow
doesn't.
up in a bad way.
But when we
Feel
were
like
talking about cars, and you're mentioning them blowing up,
I didn't talk. I didn't talk about any cars, so I don't know what you're talking about. So,
I, I,
anyways,
I'm
I
thinking,
wasn't
well,
talking
like
about cars.
out
But anyways, we
overblowing
want him to blow.
radiator.
Yeah, we want him to blow up actually, and you know, everybody's talking about when they talk about world class and stuff, what he's supposed to be consistent and all this stuff. All he's done has been consistently better every season. So this might be the big one here. So we need it.
yeah,
And yeah, so yeah, Saka is the man, but I think Partey also has contributed a lot to this team and kept us afloat as well. I mean, they're asking him to do right back, and he's doing that okay as well.
yeah, yeah. Do you think Gary? And I'll go to you then, Tony. Gary, do you think that we are stretched at the back, that we have to bring a Partey into right back?
I don't think we have to bring him in there, but that's what Arteta wants to do. I mean,
What our Tata
his
wants?
trust levels are, there is a problem. He
Yeah,
re-signs players and then he actually doesn't show them any trust. He puts players in tougher situations and then he doesn't put them in what would have been less of a less lower in terms of intensity type games. So I don't get it sometimes. But yeah,
yeah,
I guess he wants to play with a small bench. But guess what? When you lose pretty much every left back you got, you should, and you have two sitting on the bench, you probably should use them. And he
yeah.
chose not to in one scenario.
Especially,
So
yeah, in one scenario, and then you see the likes of Miles Skelly performing well last night for 60 minutes against Monaco. You just wonder why he couldn't have done that against Fulham away from home, Tony.
It's not his fault, right? He's perfectly capable of it. It's the manager having other thoughts
Mm.
of who to play.
Yeah, of course, we see with Miles Skelly's performance, he's perfectly capable of performing in the team. He's got qualities that, Bukayo Saka is now looking like a veteran alongside these young kids, but these young kids are coming through. I'm talking about Skelly, and I'm talking about Nwari as well. And, Michael here says I'm partial to question Arteta's team selection. In some cases, you're absolutely true to do that. And what Gary has said is correct. There is a certain hesitancy when it comes to some players with Mikel Arteta, and there is a certain amount of trust that needs to be built up that's not equal to other parts of the squad. Other parts of the squad seem to gain his trust and have his trust, and it seems to cloud his decisions and what could be crucial decisions in areas on the field, Tony. Like,
Well, what gets me, right? People want to call him a coach. If you're a coach, you want to take players, you progress them, you work with them, you get them where they need to
yeah,
be. He hasn't done that with the young players. It's why you've seen theatrics at first with Winarius that are generally slowly integrating the player into the team. Same with Skelly. And you've had a truckload of players leave the academy. I think a lot of it because they don't get to play. They know they don't have a place to play. Because Arteta likes people that he goes spends money on, even though some of our best players are either cheaper options or options that only cost what it took to train the
I
players and get them through the academy.
yeah, I take slight issue with that, Tony. Than that the the first team has shown, and Bukayo Saka has shown that there is a path to the Arsenal first team if you're good enough and you have those qualities, and if you're willing to buckle down and do the hard work.
Yeah, yeah.
That's,
But did you really think if Arteta came in and if Emery wasn't already playing Saka, do you really think Arteta would have been playing Saka? Or do
I
you think
think
he would have been another one of those players that's
I think
on the bench?
eventually his qualities would have shone through, and it would have been impossible for
If
him.
that was true, then Nweri would have been playing already. Because
I
I don't
said
know what more.
eventually.
I don't. Well, no. We need him to play now.
Said
When
eventually.
you struggle to score goals since Erdegaard's been injured, we've been struggling to score goals,
I
right?
agree. I agree.
And we have a player who, as far as I'm concerned, is the only one that will just take the shot, not wait for instructions and wait for an opening and wait for the defense to lay down and wait for a tap in and wait for this and wait.
Yep.
No, he's taking the shot. I mean, how often his first shots are on target, usually straight at the goalkeeper, but then he figures it out.
Yep.
We've seen this consistently from him. He comes on the pitch. His first shot typically right at the target. Second shot, he's testing the goalkeeper. So I just go by what I've seen. He did.
My keyword was eventually there, Gary.
Yeah, but eventually it's come and gone now because Erdegaard is back. So the opening was already
We're talking
there.
about Saka.
We're talking about Nweri. This is the next one.
Well,
the next
the
star.
question. The
You
question
brought
Tony
him in.
posed to me was
You brought
about
him in.
Saka.
You brought him in multiple times, but this is Saka was not brought in by Arteta.
I know.
So if you looked at Saka as a manager and you said, wait a second, you said, look, I've seen what Saka can do for me coming out of the academy, and Nweri is showing you similar traits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't like he's shown.
He's not playing. Right?
So like no, whatever you're saying, no, that's not what he's
He's
doing.
not playing.
No, no, not playing with that one.
No,
So,
what I was doing, just for clarity, was addressing Tony's question about Emery and Bukayo Saka specifically.
I know that.
Of course,
Gary answered you with the counter sheet. If that was true with Saka, we would see the same thing with Nweri.
Gary's playing poker. Gary's playing poker. He saw me and then he raised me. I don't have the cash to match.
You're folding, right? You're gonna fold. You folded, all right. Do you want to look? You want to look at my cards to see what I got, or are you okay? You think you lost?
No, I think you might be bluffing.
Oh, I think I might be bluffing. Well, you should have stayed in. You should have stayed in the hand, then, buddy.
No. What we see?
Go ahead, playing
checkers.
Gary's playing chess, and I'm playing 3D chess.
Michael said Partey's contract is expiring at the end of the season. Is that true, Tony? Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Gary, you specifically mentioned Ethan Nweri, and he just brings a freshness and enthusiasm and energy to our performances when he can come onto the field. And I want Mikel Arteta. That's the part where Michael will also question Arteta's team selection when it comes to players like that. I think there has been situations recently where we have had injuries and maybe a concussion with Gabriel.
Maybe a concussion.
And undisclosed.
He's only missed three games since then. Right?
Yes. I mean, they didn't want to trigger the discussion protocol. I would imagine, or maybe that's something that he was diagnosed with afterwards, and they're being very careful about. But in the interim, with Gabriel being out, Tony, have you been happy enough with Mikel's selections? You brought Kivior in to play left centre back against Manchester United, and Kivior continued to play against Fulham. Go ahead.
I'm fine with Kivior. Kivior can play either position, left center back or a fullback, even though Arteta doesn't like him at fullback because Arteta wants fullbacks to be wing backs, but going in the inside, leaving your center backs alone on an island. Even though you have plenty of center backs, Tierney, you might consider him a left back, but guess what? Country, center back. All these guys can play center back.
Yeah.
So if you need to, you can line up with 3 center backs back there and do what you do on the wings with your fullbacks / wing backs. I still don't care about inverted or uninverted. They're going towards the goal, and they start off in fullback positions, which
Yeah.
means they're wingback.
Yeah. Michael said Gabrielle's appearing in WWE Raw over Christmas. And is that a joke or because of the
Yeah.
concussion, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
Kivior
is a
deserves some props. Yeah, Kivior has played well. I mean, this Fulham game, Kivior attracted some criticism for the goal we conceded against Fulham. There's three levels to this, I guess. Gary, we'll go to you first. Gary, what are your thoughts on Fulham? I mean, Kivior is slightly out of position, high up in that. What Tony's talking about, being high in that left center back area. Saliba comes across, and maybe if he really goes for it, he could have slid. But then he runs the risk of Jimenez coming inside, right, and opening up the goal for him. And then David Raya. The shot comes early and it's powerful, but it beats him. It's a tough one to break down, Gary. At some point, maybe you just say it's a very good goal by Fulham as well.
Yeah, I think I guess I'll go kind of in a little bit in reverse. They kind of showed a similar. They said why didn't Saliba do this and that, and they showed a comparison with another defender, basically wanting the attacker off of the ball when he's coming into the box. The difference was Neto knows that he's going up against Saka. I mean, going against Saliba, and also knows that, and we've seen this time and time again. Arsenal doesn't give up that many opportunities. Arsenal doesn't give up that many goals. So when you get it, you better take it, and you better take it quick. And
Yeah.
that's what he took it early enough that he caught probably Saliba off guard, and he caught Ray off guard, and then it was a perfect shot. I mean, we've seen the similar things, right? I mean, Neto got an opportunity to score, he scores, right? Like teams don't get many opportunities against us, but when they do, they put everything into it, and the attention to detail seems to be spot on every time. So that's Ray. I think I don't know. You kind of put him in limbo. It was really quick how that all opened up. Saliba, as you said, came over a little bit late, but it starts with Kirio kind of letting
Jimenez.
Jimenez get by him that easy, and it basically just opened up everything. So I think it just weakened. When you open up things like that, it just happens. But it starts with Kirio. He's got to be a little bit more alert to these things, especially where the ball was and where the attacker was, and he just kind of. So that's kind of. I think it's on him, but I think people will say for the rest of the game they got nothing. But sometimes, as we've seen, all it takes is one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they got nothing but one, Tony.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're playing a Super Bowl. You get the first touchdown, and if that's enough points, that's the only one you need, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the blame still goes to me, to Arteta, because the way he positions these players.
We didn't lose because of one goal. You know that, right? We've not lost any game because of one goal that we've given up, no matter how cheap or how miraculous it was. We're not losing because of one goal. We're losing because we can't score two. We're losing because we can't take.
Feels like a loss, right?
Close out games. So
it felt like a loss, right? But it was a draw at the end of the day as well.
I think it's both. I think you're getting these draws instead of wins because your defense is a lot worse than it was last year, and that's when you've added a $45 million player that is injury prone and prone to being way too far up the pitch.
Yeah,
you have other options at left back. You have Tierney if you want to be secure. You could have put him at center back and different combinations. These guys are adaptable if you had Tanayasu available, he's another one that plays center back for his country. So it's to me, it's the manager, the way he's playing these guys, where he's putting them at. He keeps wanting to do the attacking things with his fullbacks, and that puts pressure on your center backs. And you have Kivior, he hasn't played with these guys that much.
Yeah.
And you actually had Rhea. I'm trying to remember what game it was now, but he went like this, Ray. If you paid attention to him, he was telling his defensive players to communicate with each
Okay.
other.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've seen it before, because either like you've seen it with Leno back there as goalkeeper, great shot stopper, but he couldn't command his troops. A lot of it was Arteta kept giving him different troops. We had that year 35 different lineups out of 38 games, right?
Yeah.
And
And a lot of that is down
seems
to
like
injury as well.
yeah,
Injuries are disrupting our lineups. But every team's going to have injuries, so we need to have the people that can slot in and do a job for us. As Gary said, it takes one goal, and then Arsenal need to score two. And if we don't have all cylinders firing in Havertz, Odegaard, or Martinelli or Trossard, then we're just relying on this one cylinder, which is Bukayo Saka, to carry us over the line. And he's been doing it for much of the season consistently. And Arsenal can spark again, but these players need to start playing. So as Gary said, you give up one goal, and the way we've been playing lately, we're not scoring a boatload of goals. And it's great when you can get a set piece goal, but you need to be able to create things from open play as well. Now I understand that will be levied against Arsenal, but I also understand this Arsenal stats in open play is very similar to Liverpool and City. I think it's very comparable. It's the media that is sort of spinning Arsenal's set piece play, which is superb. And they seem to want to give the new manager in the league, Ruben Amorim, they want to give him a pass for his team being really bad to defend, Tony.
But we've done this before. I can't remember, second, third, fourth, somewhere early in the season, that I remember it was like 6 straight times. It was corner kicks, and it was the exact same thing to Gabriel every time. You might get a head on it, but you got to have more than a plan of targeting your big fucking Brazilian shithouse center back that's got a great eye for the goal, that reads how the teams line up. And you can see that he's key to it every time, because what does he do? He goes and communicates with Saka. He goes and communicates with Odegaard. He goes back, sees how they set up, and sometimes he comes back and talks to him again.
Yeah, the set piece.
Gary put Partey as like our second.
Yeah, I'm going to go there as well.
To me, it's still Gabriel, and it's still Saka. Odegaard third.
What and
look, you weaken our midfield. You don't talk about the defenders anymore. I'm telling you that. And Partey's been key for that most of the time. See what happens when he's not there and we don't have the right people in place.
Where has Partey been playing at? He's been playing at right back.
He's been playing. Yeah. He's been going back and forth depending on who's around, right?
Unfortunately, when Arsenal doesn't create that many clear-cut chances, right? Thomas Partey's got a header in this Fulham game midway through the second half where, he needs to do better in that situation. And Michael said, I remember we conceded an early goal from a kickoff a lot of months back. I can't remember against who. Uh, Marino could play right back. I'd say Marino could play right back. I think we have the people who can play right back as well. I mean, there are injuries. Apparently, we are the new Stoke. LOL. But Gary, the way we do these set pieces against Manchester United was all about being at the back post and drifting to the near post. In this game against Fulham lose all of our markers because they've drifted to the near post, anticipating we're going to do the same thing. And here we have Kai Havertz on the back post, who's come in from the penalty spot, not being part of that group at the back, and gets a header that will create Saliba's goal.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm gonna be a little negative. I guess if we can, if we can anticipate that teams will try to stop us on a corner based on what we've been doing in the past, why
Yeah,
can't we do the same thing in the open field when we play there like 90, 95% of the game?
be right. Be a little bit more
Like
like
how
a
how
long
can we
ball
how can
from
we anticipate? Look, this is where we
Evior.
our bread and butter is on
Yeah,
set pieces, corners coming in.
yeah,
We're gonna have to change things up a little bit, right?
yeah,
Before it was Ben White doing what he was doing. Then it was them all doing everything together. Then it was them attacking the front, the back post, whatever, right?
yeah.
Then it was just making sure one guy gets free. I mean, we do different things on different scenario,
Mm.
different times, parts of the game. So for me, if we can be that meticulous about how we handle our corners, how can we not in the most important part of
Yeah.
in an area where we play the most, not have answers. Like we know what a low block is. We know how most teams should know how to break down that, but we still struggle. It's not
And,
something that just happened this season. It's not something that just happened last season. It's been happening
and,
since we've shown that look, if you don't, you will get punished. And we haven't still like for me been consistent enough to figure out an answer
Mm.
to breaking down a low block and to where we don't have to talk about it anymore. Because as soon as we say low block, look, this team's just going to play a low block on us, and then what do? We make a mistake. They decide, oh, we're even going to go lower now, right? So yeah, no, I appreciate the changes that we make on the corners. I just like to see it. Like this is another one of those. I just like to see it in other parts of our game as well. All right.
Uh,
what,
might
what,
I
what's
say? Might
what,
I
what,
say
what,
that? Go ahead, Tony. You might
what,
be saying
what's your two P words, Ray?
my two key words:
P words. P words.
progressive or what's the other one?
Pragmatic.
Pragmatic or progressive? Yeah, and
I think he's a little too progressive on what he does with his fullbacks, and
uh,
that's why teams pick us apart because they know what we're gonna do. There's not a plan B, C, D, E,
yeah,
F, G, Z, whatever you want to
yeah,
throw in there.
yeah,
You could go to the Cyrillic alphabet, spell some Russian words in there. It doesn't matter. Arteta doesn't have any other plans. And what's worse about this is a guy that was a midfielder. So he should know how to get the midfield to work. But
yeah.
the one time, the only season that our midfield worked was this season that he put Granit Xhaka as an attacker because he wanted to
Left eight.
complete, completely overload the left side.
Hmm.
Zinchenko up there. Let's throw everybody up there. Then, for some reason, we only give Tavares a 1 year shot at doing something, which he's very good at doing.
Apparently,
Second in assists in Europe, but
yeah.
he can attack out of the back. But the difference is they play with three center backs. which is
Yeah.
practical.
And look, I think there was we're talking about open play and trying to be a little bit
But
different. We see it
but
a little bit in the Monaco game. A long ball from Kivior, and we'll talk about Gabriel Jesus, but he's straight through on goal, and it's easier to miss the goalkeeper's legs. I know the goalkeeper had his reactions and saved it, but still, that's maybe a variation on the way we've been playing with two new players who've come into this team from the squad, Kivior and Jesus, who've not been, indoctrinated maybe in Arteta style as much throughout the season.
come on. Jesus is indoctrinated as they come to Arteta. Arteta kept playing him all the times.
Yeah,
We finally thought last
Well, you
year
know what?
we
You know what? When you're
gave
the
up on him.
nephew, when you're the nephew, Tony, that's what it sounds like, right? When you're the nephew, because he's not going to talk bad on his uncle.
of course I am. I've
Of
said
course,
already.
you have not. You just didn't. That's why Tony
I
had to come
I
at you.
have already verbalized that I need him to bring in Wari into the team more. I'm with you on that one, Gary.
But why don't you do it when you have an attacking midfielder, but you play him as a right eight, which his hurts his attack. He wants to attack. It makes no sense. He wants to attack from the flanks, but nothing down the middle.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
Do you think
uh,
that's something to do with the formation, Tony? That
uh,
the right eight and the left eight specifically link up with their wingers and their fullbacks.
it's what he wants. It's why teams can go at us because
Yeah.
they've seen this picture 1,000 times. It's like a
Yeah.
Polaroid. You keep
We
shaking it,
would love.
Ray.
I would love Odegaard to use his left foot and work through the middle. I would love if it's Declan Rice to use his right foot and
But
work through
but
the
but
middle as well.
but we went through a period of a year. We actually did go pragmatic. We went with a 4-4-2, and do
Yeah.
you know what, Ray? It worked. Why can't it work with Odegaard in the team?
Yeah, I think we're still struggling at that left eight position and trying to find the right balance in midfield. That's what I think, anyway.
I
Um,
I, I still think we got the answer, Ray. The country he's from, their flag is yellow and blue.
Gary, I hear what you're saying, Tony. Gary, do you think this set piece routine won't be sussed out by other teams? Iconoclast is agreeing with you. DWTT, we need other options to score. You are
Yeah.
totally correct. There you have. You have a fan.
Thank you, Iconoclast. Yeah.
We
No,
do need other options to
well,
score.
yeah. I mean, no, we're gonna when we get corners, we're gonna take them. Right? When you get a free kick, you're gonna take it. When you get a penalty kick, you're gonna take it. Nobody
Yeah,
says, "Oh, you know what? Oh, you scored 5 goals from the penalty spot. That's terrible. That's not good football." Hey, the team puts you in that situation. You took advantage. Right?
yeah.
Well, when a player slips and falls down, do you go back and go, "Oh no, I don't want to
We
take on the
stop play.
goalkeeper because you fell"? No, you take advantage of any mistake that you get. So
Yeah,
yeah, no,
That's why I always hate those teams that kick the ball out on players left down.
oh yeah, drives me
Uh,
crazy because
Especially when it's not a head injury.
yep,
Yeah, I get it.
and
Stop the play and check on the two guys.
you know,
But when
we're
it's a
Tony, we're the only team that gets accused of practicing dark arts. Well, dark arts are not dark arts; they're just being more clinical in situations. They're just being more ruthless in situations, and we've had to bear the brunt of it for many, many years, and we've learned how to play that way by being bullied in the past. We've grown up and learned how to do that.
uh,
Michael went on
but
to say, "Yeah,
to me, it's still something that's going to take 4 or 5 years of coaching to get that ingrained to your team. You had Patrick Vieira when he was coaching in France, his second year there. best defense in France. It doesn't take time to. You've seen it with Emery, what he's done with Villa. It doesn't take years and years and years. You don't need projects.
Well, I
Arsenal,
think Unai
you,
Emery is
you
struggling
can,
now.
considering the big old paybook that
Yeah,
Arteta's been given,
yeah.
he's been given a black card that you can spend whatever you want on it.
Yeah, listen, you really
And
you really do wonder what's going on. I mean, that's a big. We'll talk about it a little bit later. A bigger issue is how maybe our preseason and the summer has led into where we are right now. Uh,
and,
four Premier League games away from the halfway point in the Premier League season. So
and I don't like how we don't have somebody lined up or that can come in now that can be the sporting director
right, yeah.
or
I,
or at least somebody that can come to it till the end of the year that's knows
I
what
would,
they're doing.
yeah.
It's it's to me. I still think if you pick up the phone, you say, Dennis, have you had enough time with your family? Oh, your daughter's going to this college,
Dennis
and
Bergkamp. This is, yeah.
yes, I
Uh,
mean,
uh,
I don't think it's hard to talk
yeah,
formally.
I think we want to get the right appointment as well, and maybe not rush it as well. Uh, Michael said Monaco had an interesting play, having three players on the halfway line when Arsenal had the corner. Conatlas said, "I, in my opinion, the back line within the next 2 years will be Timber at right back, White right centre back. Wow, Calafiori left centre back, and Skelly." Left back. So we're selling Gabriel and Saliba. That's going to be a tough one in the next 2 years if those two players are mainstays of our central defensive pair gone.
Yeah,
Um,
but you still have PSG, which if I was Saliba, I wouldn't want to go to right now. They're not very good. But,
so Arsenal 1-1
uh,
at Fulham. Tony, yeah, go ahead.
eh, just to me, you got to either win the Champions League or you got to win the Premier League. If you don't do either one of those, there'll be players that are very key to Arsenal that wave goodbye to you in the summer.
Mm-hmm. For me, definitely next Wednesday there is a cup game, or it's a quarterfinal against Crystal Palace, and that's a must-win game to get to a semi-final of a cup competition as well, whilst keeping the league going. And
Well, why keeping Saka at home? That's not a game he needs to go to.
it's not a far distance, as you know, to travel. And maybe you can roll out that stat about all how many games we're going to have in
To,
London and less travel
to,
tonight.
12 of our 12 or 13 games it was, right?
I mean,
And we
um,
already stumbled with a 1-1 draw against Fulham.
yeah, yeah, it's a stumble indeed. So Gary, in the
I,
context of,
I was asked you this, Ray, because
I'll get to you, Gary.
Gary obviously only been following Arsenal again the last 8-9 years.
Why are
More,
you taking out like?
more,
Why are you cutting out all
more.
my time?
but
More
I'm
than that.
sick.
And then actually, you know what? I don't like this. Like, you know what? Hey, I know there's three people on it, but I only want to talk to one. I'm your friend
No, but
too. I don't cut
I,
you out. You
you'll
always
get
want to
to
cut me out.
you'll get to answer it
Yes, Gary,
secondary.
you can
No,
feel
you already
questions.
cut me out.
Yes,
Let's try.
Tony,
Let me try it again.
you can feel questions to Gary also. Tony.
I'll let you know
Ray,
if I don't know.
I'll do this, and I'll do this for. I'm gonna do it for 20 years. Has there been a more of a bogey team for us than Fulham over the last 20
Mhm.
years? It seems like always they give us a hard time. They're doing it with Wenger,
Yeah,
even early in
yeah,
Wenger's career, and
yeah.
definitely
I
in
mean,
the
there's
teens.
been times where we've gone to Fulham and we've beaten them 3-0. We all remember that a few years ago. Actually, it was probably what Gabriel's debut game and goal he scored in it, you know. But there has been occasions where they have given us some fits, you know. I wanted this game against Fulham to be a big difference from last season and somewhere where you could put plus 3 points. We gained 3 points over a similar fixture last year. It didn't happen. We can only say we gained 1 point over this fixture last season. Um, and it's going to be important in the context of what Liverpool are doing and what Arsenal are doing that we um, look at
Don't
ourselves and improve upon what we did last season. You know,
don't forget the blue team, right?
don't forget the blue team either, Chelsea, right? Yeah, I mean that's true. Chelsea, you have to say if Arsenal's in this title race, Chelsea are in there too. But Gary, in the context of Fulham and the last 20 minutes, what were your thoughts closing in at the end of that game and the drama that happened at the end of the game as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's bogey teams, but then there's just a plan that teams have against us that always seems to work, and we always seem to fall into the trap. Right? We go into these games knowing that we can't make mistakes, and we have to be clinical, and we have the opportunities, and they always come back to haunt us when we're not. We always seem to make that one mistake against Fulham a couple times, against West Ham, last year. I mean, you know, made a mistake against Aston Villa late in the game to expect them to get the second goal. I mean, so yeah, that's why you have to have the only answer we have for it right now is to get better at attacking, and when we don't change anything there, we're using the same people we used the last 3 years. It seems like if you look at our attackers then and now, the same people. You haven't changed. You haven't
Yes.
brought the person in.
Who's that Spider-Man guy? I remember
It was
somebody.
and a lot of people in
And
the
the
chat.
man, good evening.
Yeah. So I
Boy,
yeah, no,
Rob.
I mean yeah, Fulham's been, I've heard that Fulham's been our nemesis for a bit, but every game I hear the same thing. This will be a tough one. This is a banana skin. Oh, this is really tough to play at this place. Like every one of them, we've not played one team. Doesn't matter who it is, where somebody hasn't said this was going to be a tough one.
Or
They're
you
all
have
tough for Arsenal for some reason.
and Ray's really good about this because he snuck in the weather again when he thinks things might go south. Or
I
wind might
I only mentioned
wind might be howling out of the south. I don't know what
yeah.
Ray and weather does, but
And you know what, Tony? The conditions were similar to last year as well. In a
but
bad
but
weather day. Not that the weather is an excuse. I was just merely highlighting that might be
but but
raining.
but given what Gary says there is what I don't get. It's like why with Arteta has he got such a long leash? I mean, he's one of those, those retractable ones, right? They have some of them that go out 10 feet, 15 feet.
Yeah, but he takes all of that leash.
Then there's some of those really big ones that have like 25 or 50 foot on it.
You
But,
have on your dogs,
but
right?
my
They pull
dogs
you,
have to,
they
my,
pull
my
you
dogs
along
have
like huskies.
I have a 5 foot and a 4 foot one because they try to just yank my arms off, especially with smaller, skinny one that you like to call Glenn. But going back on what Gary was saying, enough of
Yes.
sorry, but but to me it's like why does Arteta get such a big space where all these teams that are like relegation battle teams, they're somehow Goliaths it doesn't matter which week we play in, week 1, week 8, 15, 27. Doesn't matter. For some reason, they're juggernaut, and it's a great win if we beat this relegation battling team that hasn't won in 8 games, but yet they're coming up against Arsenal. And watch out for them. And I'm tired of hearing it. It's time to start getting critical because why we're. I mean, I was thinking of this earlier. Given all the chaos at Man United, you don't see planes flying over the fucking thing and saying
Wow.
fire Wenger like we had.
Wow. You're
I
talking
mean,
about,
they're clubs in total collapse right now because they
yeah.
have majority owners that don't want to sell the
Well,
team.
well,
That they're
you talk about Man United, and Michael put the question in. I was thinking, I doubt that. I know there's been some links. I doubt that it's very substantial, but uh, Dan Ashworth, is he going to be a good addition if he would go to Arsenal? You know what I mean? And Michael's fired in the question: would Rashford be a good signing? And I'm putting a few stars on things. Iconoclast, I'm putting a star on the stadium question. We'll come back to that one. But Tony, would Ashford be a good addition?
no.
I don't. I tend. He's got the Man United stink a little bit, Gary, hasn't he? Dan
Yeah.
Ashford.
Yeah, I mean, they just went out and got what some said is one of the next up and coming managers, coaches, and then they let him go.
Mm.
There's got to be something to that, And we don't. I mean, we don't need to take people's seconds. All right, if
Yeah.
he didn't last that long there, that's not a good sign.
Seems like
You know?
Amram is cleaning the house a little bit in there and having some
I
influence.
don't know how much control he has, but that just seems a little suspect, and it seems kind of strange, right, to happen that quickly into his tenure
Yeah.
there, and then the
Yeah.
change with the new manager. So obviously, it sounds either Manchester United did what they usually, may have done in the past to bring in conflicting, partners into this thing, and this time they've said, you know what, let's not even bother trying to see if it works. Let's just go get the right person for Amarin, right? So
Yeah.
Amarin's the guy, as opposed to bringing in Dan Ashworth and then bringing in somebody that would work with him, right? That's at
Yeah.
least from the outside looking in, that's what it looks like, right? So
Yeah.
now
It
I
seems
think,
like it's something Amram doesn't feel comfortable about, right?
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think I don't know if he quit. So it sounds like I don't know if they, they don't. I think he quit, right? Or there was a mutual.
No, I think his performance wasn't good enough, and they
Yeah.
let him
So
go. You
it's
know what
hard
I
to do.
mean?
I find it hard to do in what 4 or 5 months.
Moving about in a
Like what?
different
Like
direction.
like like one. If it's what did he get one window to? Or is it not even a window? Did he come in after the season started, or did he come in when the season before the
I
season
think he's
started?
probably been. We are not a Manchester United
Yeah.
podcast, but I believe he's probably been there a couple of seasons working with Ten Hag, and
I thought
now
no. Okay, maybe I'm reading this wrong, but I
I
could have.
mean,
Do I
I'm
have
not,
this?
some of the guys in the chat box might know better than me as well.
I
Um,
thought he has only been there for, at least in this role, I thought only for a small percentage of time.
yeah, as
Uh,
Red John said, if your employer values you, they don't let you leave, and
I think he got the job, Gary, like midway through last year when they brought in the minority owners and said they would
he joined
have control
in
of the.
July, so he's
But
been there from July to December.
well,
That's what, that's
it's
like 5 months.
6 months, 5 months, yeah.
So that's 5 months.
Yeah.
July 1st to December 8th. That's 5 months. So
That's,
what could he have done that bad in 5 months? Like they look at one
yeah.
window and said that, whatever body of work, like this is the same guy who worked at Newcastle. I'm just
Wow.
looking at his resume. So in Newcastle in that time, I believe, picked up like a Isaac and picked up all these other players around that time. So he would have been
and
Gordon.
instrumental in some of that stuff, right? And now he goes to
he
United. And now he's 5 months in, and like it's out. I think for me, is it
Personality thing.
is it the performance, or is it just the relationships not working?
I think it's a relationship. I just think, after
it,
5 months,
it,
you get an idea of the comfort level. Maybe Amram doesn't have that comfort or didn't have that comfort with him and
because
chose to influence the owner.
because he was the one instrumental in Newcastle getting in the top four, finishing, getting into a Champion League way ahead of their predicted time, and that now with the crazy. I don't know where they come up with these numbers for
Yeah,
these clubs,
we
but
don't need to.
it's like nobody can spend money now. But to me, I think that whole thing's divided up there because you spend all summer reviewing Ten Hag, and it should have been clear that it wasn't working. Say bye bye.
Well, there was a certain section of the fan base that were willing to stick with Ten Hag because of
No,
the
but I'm not
FA
saying the
Cup,
fan
because of
base.
the FA Cup
I,
success.
I'm saying the hierarchy of the club, really, not.
They were in a tricky situation, Tony, and not to dwell on it too long, but they'd won the FA Cup, so Ten Hag maybe bought himself some
Well,
time.
okay,
But
so listen to this. This is his players that he has signed:
yeah,
Moises Caicedo, Isak, Alex McAllister, Trossard, Ferguson, Everton Ferguson, Nick Post, Anthony Gordon, Matoma, Cucurella, Mazzara, Lamptey, Botman, and now it's starting to get down to the
less.
last. But like Ugarte, like there's players on this list that we know of because we played
These,
against them multiple times, right?
yeah,
So like
yeah.
for me, what like that's what hit the players he's brought in, right?
Mm, yeah.
Sandro Tonali he brought in, right? Like that's what he's bringing in. So like when you say what's the resume, and I thought, I'm looking at the resume. I'm like, well, that's kind of what we want, right? He has a relationship with Isak. He brought him in, and we want Isak. So it might,
Mhm.
who knows?
But
But like,
but but
I, I
but does Arteta want Isak? That's the problem.
no, I
And
mean,
well,
if you want to go get one of the
and,
better, you want to get the best available striker in the
Tony,
in that might
yeah,
be that might be achievable in the league.
we're going to talk about Champions League a little bit later. And
what,
Tony,
when's the last time?
we're pretty
When's the
well
last
placed.
time? When's the last time we deployed a striker?
We are pretty well placed in the Champions League. We want to, all Arsenal fans and Mikel Arteta should want to win the Champions League at some point in the next few years, if that's a possibility. Knowing where Real Madrid might be this season, Real Madrid might have a dip this season. Man City are definitely having a dip this season, and to think that we couldn't compete against them.
They're having a derailment, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, we are not there right now in terms of in a position to take advantage of Man City, and we are not there right now in a position to take advantage of Real Madrid. We hope to be. We hope to be in the new year. We hope to get better. We hope to not rely just on Bukayo Saka for everything. We hope that Kai Havertz will start scoring again, and Martinelli, Trossard,
But
and Odegaard similar.
but sure, but Trossard to me he's a forward.
Yeah.
Kai's a forward. Because to me, a striker is somebody that's able to get up there and create for themselves.
Yeah, now you're just talking about terminology of what a forward or a striker is. They're capable. Either one are capable of scoring goals and creating assists. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying creating their own goals though. To me,
Mm.
that's what a striker
Right.
does.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sit back
Well.
there. It's
Yeah.
like if you watch that one half where Real Madrid came back, had 5 goals in that second half in the Champions League, like the second week I think of the Champions League.
Yeah.
And you see where those players were shooting it and the authority they were shooting it with. Then a few weeks later, because I brought it up on for trip a few weeks later, you started seeing Saka doing that, shooting with authority, and that's what you want.
Yeah. Gary's been
You
calling
want to
for
be
that.
confident.
Yeah.
You want to know. Yeah, I can curl a ball in there. I mean, he did it with a. I still don't know how the hell you do that on a corner kick. How does a corner kick not touch anybody and go in, especially how crowded it was near post?
Well, it can happen with a
For
lot of
everything you
pro.
just said, that's how it can happen. A
You
lot of
just
moving
described.
people in front of the goal. I mean, the ball. We've seen it happen. Everybody's paying attention, trying to adjust to the ball. Somebody gets bumped. Next thing you know, the ball's going in. Nobody touched
Yeah.
it. I mean,
But
Yeah.
I remember they like replayed it like 5 or 6 times because they kept
So
thinking it was like own goals or
if you
this or that, but it ended up being a goal.
so
But
chat box, if you don't have your comment highlighted, it's because I put a star on it, and we're gonna come back to it. You know what I mean? Red John said Liverpool did something similar with Richard Hughes, and he signed nobody but an injured Chiesa. LOL. Liverpool have not improved their squad from last season. But
but,
Arnie
but
Slot is getting a tune
obviously
out of
they
what
don't
he
need.
has.
Obviously they didn't need to. They just needed, as people have said
Yeah,
sometimes, you just need a different voice.
a refresh. Yeah. And
but don't.
he is getting a tune out of them. I still feel though, Gary, and I'm gonna steadfastly stick to what I've said before, that they're still compiling similar points to what they did last season. So I still see them around the 82 to 85 point mark by the end of the season. You know, they got 82 last season. They might improve a little bit, but that's kind of where Liverpool are right now. And it's by virtue of the fact that they've played a lot of the teams at Anfield. And there's a big difference between Liverpool and Anfield and Liverpool not at Anfield. And that's the rock. I might die on this rock, but this is the hell I'm living on or
They dropped
defending. You know what I
in
mean?
3 matches.
Huh?
They didn't play. You're saying they only played 3 matches away.
No,
From 14.
Liverpool are have dropped point. They've dropped more point. They're not the same team away from Anfield as they are at Anfield. You know, Anfield is a intimidating place to go to, and Arsenal, because we didn't beat them at our place, we're gonna have to go there at the end of the season and
Yeah,
win
but
at Anfield.
we're not as good as on the road this year as we have been in
True,
previous seasons.
we have definitely drops. Well, if you look at it in the cold light of day, we have had too many draws, Tony. I will accept that. Five
Yeah,
draws right now is bad for us. But when you
two,
look at
two,
it, you know, we got to draw. We got to draw against Liverpool, albeit at our place. We got to draw at Manchester City.
yep.
We should
But
have
that's
picked up those
something.
points.
But that's something we haven't been doing. We've only been getting 2 or 3 draws a season. It's either been wins or losses, and now it's going into that draw box, which you're still losing two
Yep.
points a game by doing that.
Draws can be just as damaging as defeats. As I think Gary has said that, you know, you'd rather win one game than draw two. Obviously.
I was still wanting us to beat the draw
Yeah.
record, which we almost did. Compare
No,
You
no,
don't
compared
we're
to
not
like it.
going
You
back
didn't. You
there.
don't want us to. No, stop that. You don't want. No,
No,
you
you don't
did
want a
not.
draw record.
No, you didn't. You did not say
He
that.
wants more than 14 draws. He wants something like 17 draws.
No, you did not want that.
No. Red
but
John
but,
said
but
Arsenal already done that whole thing where we took a chance on an experienced guy with Edu. At least he has history with Arsenal. I'm not risking our future on a not sure thing. I think I'd rather go for that Real Sociedad director of football as well. Tony, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
I'm saying you got Lit, you got Law, you got Garlic. I mean, not none of those guys you don't know what they do. They haven't been bringing big players in or anything. So
I
and
mean,
you still
you
still
could look at
you
our team and say we've added big players most seasons. You know, the players who have complemented Martinelli and Saka. You know, Odegaard, Havertz, Trossard, Declan Rice. We have added some key pieces. Now, do we need to go ahead and add some more? Of course we do. One of them could be a striker to put Havertz into a situation where he's starting half of the league games, not all of them. You know what I mean? Right? John said if Slot wins the league, we're gonna have to have Arteta and Arteta out conversation. Slot signed nobody but Chiesa, who hasn't started the game. I still feel like they'll come back to us. You know. Now, if it goes beyond 9 points, I'm gonna be very, very. I'm gonna have a different tune if it goes beyond 9 points.
Them not signing anyone, but when you've got Salah, when you've got Van Dijk, and
Yeah.
Kanate showing up, Gatpo showed up,
Injuries.
the
but
goalkeepers,
but
whatever
but
goalkeeper in there is showing up. I mean,
those first three
we don't have a
players.
Salah. We don't have a
We do.
in terms of their. We don't have them in terms of what they where they
We
sit
we have
in the
comparable.
in world football right now. We don't have a Van Dijk. We don't have a
We
Salah.
do.
We don't. We
We
don't.
do.
No, we don't.
Gary,
No, we have players that
Gary,
are getting there. Yes,
We
but
have a Saliba.
we don't have world class players considered
You
right
give me
now.
a Liverpool player, I'll counter it with an Arsenal player.
I'm telling you, we don't. Until they get us across the line, it's going to be hard
You
to
say we
compare.
don't have a Salah.
Yeah, we don't. We don't have a Salah.
have
We
a
don't have a
Saka.
player that's going to get us a Champions League,
did,
a Premier League, and all the trophies that are out there in the world today. We don't have that player
do you
yet.
know what?
Because guess what?
Do,
They haven't done it yet, so we don't have that
do,
player. So we don't have
do
that
you know what,
experience.
Gary?
None of our players have that experience to say they've won every trophy under the sun. And their four best players have that.
Tony, yeah.
But three players you mentioned, Gary. How many days are we into of a new year?
19.
19 days. 19 days. Those three guys can sign for another club. And
Who
be
cares
out
about that
in
right
June.
now? We're not talking about where they are in May. We're talking about what happens this season. Who cares about what happens in May? Well,
Because
you
they'll
sound
be
like
gone.
you're saying, oh, in May we can then decide to go win the league. Is that what you're trying to say? So why would you bring that up?
I'm saying those players are to be gone, and ones that you're trying
They're
to
not
say
going anywhere until the end of the
we have
season.
What Gary's saying is they've done that.
Players.
What Gary's saying, they've been there, they've done that. You know. Now
You're talking about what's going to happen in May. We're not there yet.
They totally broke their wage structure and everything else.
You know what? This is the same thing we said about City. Guess what? When Pep leaves, guess what? When these players get older, all this stuff happened, and where do we sit? Still trying to make sure we can compete for the league. We're not there yet. So, I hear what you're saying, but I believe that doesn't matter right now.
Gyökeres, Red John Gyökeres. Isak has declined this season from last season. Some injuries have impacted Isak. Gyökeres has progressively gotten better. You know, there is a question which striker, right, you'd want to target. I think I would lean toward Gyökeres myself. I know Isak is Premier League proven, but there is injuries. There is an injury. Man, there's so many questions coming in the chat box. I'm just putting stars on all of them. And David Coots
just when we played him at the start of the year, he was way off form then. And
who?
Isak.
Isak was not. I mean, he was clinical enough to score the goal against us.
Yeah, well, as bad as he's playing, he would lead our team in goals.
Maybe.
No, right now he would lead our team in goals right now.
Yeah, he'd have done like 5.
He's got 6. So
See,
there you
there he
go.
would
So
lead.
that's where he is.
Yeah,
He's having a bad year. He'd be our leader in goals. And
and
guess what? If he played for us, he'd probably have more than 6 goals. I
and
would
we're
think.
about a third the distance in the Premier League right now. So you probably end up with 16 or 17 goals for the
Uh,
season, and that
have
would be
you
enough to be the leading goal scorer at Arsenal.
have you checked where our strikers play?
You can't just keep switching the goalpost, buddy. One minute you're talking about he's not having a good year,
It,
and I'm
it,
telling you
it,
he's
it,
better than every player we have on our team, and
it,
he's
Um,
struggling.
it doesn't matter, Gary, what name you bring in. If the manager's not gonna put them in a
That
striking
is not what
position,
we are. You just change. You're changing the
you
goalposts. I
you
like it.
you
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 don't
you
like you.
you
I beat you, so now you're gonna switch
you
and change up
you
the
you
rules.
you, you have a world class attacking midfielder, but guess what? He's
This is
he,
irrelevant to the
he's he's
conversation.
he's busy playing defense
uh,
instead of getting
you
goals.
guys, both of
Two,
you.
two, 2 years ago, but imagine Gary,
Oh,
how many
again,
goals? How many goals does Odegaard have right now?
I don't care. Why do I care about that for
2 or
this
3,
conversation?
if that.
He's
One,
got he's
Ah,
got 4, I think. He's
1.
behind Saka.
Is he?
Erdegaard. Oh, Erdegaard. He's got. I don't know if he's got any
That
goals.
penalty that he was gifted
Oh,
at
so
West
yeah,
Ham, right?
yeah. So
That's
that's
it.
Saka's goal. So try again. What?
and what he
That's
what do you
Saka's.
have to what do you have 2 years ago? He had over 10
You
or
know what?
20.
I've been told that his GA isn't pertinent to our success. I want it to
Yeah,
be pertinent to our success, but
Who
guess what?
told you that?
Many people say you know what? The things that he does can't be quantified by GA.
No, no, no,
His
no, no.
organization on the press, his organization when we're
He's a
defending
player.
from the back,
He's a
all that
player in
stuff.
our front five. He's a
He
he's a,
obviously not because where's the GA that comes with
he
that?
needs to weigh in.
Where are
He
even
needs
the
to weigh
shots?
in.
Have you seen him take a shot consistently in games that he's played? No, you have not. That's so like all that stuff you're talking about. No, that's not what he's doing.
He needs to bring his CV every day and
Yeah.
drop it on the
it's
table and say,
it,
"This is what I did today." You know
it,
what I mean?
it's what the players are being asked to do.
No,
Do you
Tony,
th-
no.
do,
You're
do,
t-
do you do
Tony.
you,
I
do,
asked you. I
do,
asked you
do,
who was at fault for the Fulham goal, and you said Mikel Arteta because you didn't put him in the right position. There's 3 players in a position to do something about that goal, and neither one of the 3 could solve the puzzle. You know, players are on the field to make an impact as well. You know, I understand what you're saying. Not being put in position to succeed.
I,
You know,
I think you've seen plenty of times how far up the pitch your
yeah.
fullbacks are when they're
Mhm.
supposed to be.
Well,
Why are they called fullbacks, right? Because they're supposed to
why are they
be
called inverted
defensive.
fullbacks?
Because it's a bullshit terminology. They're wing
Uh,
backs.
Red
It doesn't
John
matter.
said,
It doesn't matter if you take a couple of steps left or a couple
yeah,
of steps right.
yeah.
You're a wing back.
Red John said, we're going to be sacking Arteta soon. I wouldn't worry about it. Slot wins the league with basically no signings. I would say we're just 15 games in, and there's 23. Yes, the games will tick down very quickly to where we're talking about there's 15 games left, and 23 have gone by, you know?
The problem is you see how little rotation we have.
Yeah.
We don't have the
Well,
depth
well,
to.
we have the injuries are hurting us right now. Tomiyasu, Calafiori, Gabriel in the back line. So that's
Yeah,
hurting us a little bit to where we get to
I,
a Kivior
I,
or Zinchenko.
I would assume Gabriel would be back this weekend.
I hope so. Hope you're right. Michael said we just
But,
survived in this big club that we are. Say Arteta
but
replaced with another manager. Could we potentially be better or with active ownership? It's always a question mark. You know, you make a change. Can you be better? Can you improve? Or do you go backwards? You know what I mean? Hard to know.
We still have
Van
two
Dijk
empty
and
board
Kwanzaa is
seats.
not better than Gabriel and Saliba. I would even say Van Dijk and Konate.
No, but what I'm saying is Gabriel and Saliba aren't at his level yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
they're talents
I
that can get them there, but they're
I
not at
would
his level
say
yet.
they don't have the credentials. You're right.
That comes with the levels. I mean, it's not just
No, you
yeah.
can hit the levels, but then the credentials will come. Whereas one
That's why
side
they're not.
has the credentials.
That's why they're not at the same level.
Well,
You just said it. That's
when an up and coming fighter meets a champion that's been there a few years,
Mm,
and the hunger is there, you know,
yeah.
the effort is going to be there to beat the champion at some point
Yeah,
and
but
take that belt. You
but
know,
but 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 how much money are they willing to spend on keeping him?
keeping
Van
Saliba,
Dyke.
keeping Saka. Uh,
Van Dyke.
well, Salah's going to break the bank. Maybe who knows? I don't know.
He'll be
That's
left
their
to
issue.
go.
You know what I mean?
I mean, they already broke their what
Trent
they do. I
Trent
mean,
will
they
probably go to Real Madrid, and they say Van Dijk and Salah will stay. That's what they think. You know what I mean? Most fans think that our midfield's 100% better. I want Trent Alexander. Pay 100 million for this guy. No, I don't think I'd do that. Let him go to Real Madrid. Red John.
Uh,
Isak
the-
would thrive at
yeah.
Arsenal. He would stand, but would he play more than 30 games a season?
Mm.
And maybe we don't need him to play 30 games a season, but you'd want him to be fit enough to play 30 games a season as well.
would Arteta play him as a false eight?
And that's kind of the thing that's happened to Jesus. I've been resistant to agreeing with his injury being an issue pre-World Cup. But we don't have the same Jesus that we bought and we had for 6 months.
I I I still think the 51 million when he could have signed for free 5 months later was way too much money.
Yeah. Wage distribution in the squad could be regarded as abysmal. If Arteta wins nothing, he has to be sacked this season pronto, at least a frigging Carabao Cup. Yeah. I think there has to be visceral success. There has to be a trophy this season. 0 trophies sacked for me. 5 seasons, 1 FA Cup after spending nearly £1 billion. Listen, if we get a Premier League, it would have been worth it for me if we win a Premier League title, right? I don't know if either of you agree with that. Waiting 4 or 5 seasons without a trophy, if we can get a Premier League in that, in this.
Uh, yeah, I don't know, Ray. We got in this position because we wanted to compete and win, and we haven't won anything since this first year,
I mean, you can
first
be
half year.
you can be a good cup team, or you can be a good team that tries to challenge to win the league.
We got
But
rid of
we haven't been
Nketiah for
either.
nothing. Nketiah wasn't going to give us anything, so we didn't get rid of him for nothing.
We got rid of Nketiah
Nketiah didn't
for
give us anything when he was here.
some
That wasn't
cat.
going to change
But
this season.
we could have sold him for 20 million to Crystal Palace, but we
Yeah.
had him on
No, I mean he got
70,000
sold
a
for
week, and
we got
they
Yeah, but
we got similar money anyways, but I don't think just like Emile Smith-Rowe, it wasn't we needed to try something different. Like every season you're like, is it gonna work? And it didn't work. And is it gonna work and it didn't
Isak,
work? Is it gonna
there's a
work?
high release clause probably.
I don't
Stan,
think he doesn't have a release clause, is my understanding from everything I've heard.
going to be a high
He's
fee
got
then,
2 to 3
right?
years left on his contract, no release clause, so in Newcastle doesn't have to sell him.
And
well,
Eddie Nketiah has not scored for Crystal Palace. He better not score
And I think he's
next
either
midweek.
hurt or something, right? I don't even think he.
and Ray, we at Arsenal know that release clauses matter zilts because we actually did trigger a release clause. You can ask Mr. Henry of Liverpool, and he fully admitted
There,
that
there's some
Arsenal triggered the release
there
clause.
is some disagreement about what was going on there. You know what I mean? That's whereas you're going back into the sands of time. I thought we were talking about a release clause. You'd be talking about Thomas Partey, and as long as you pay the money, you can have the player. You know what I mean?
It's not like that. It's, I
Bargath,
mean,
welcome Bargath.
in Spain, you pay the money to
Sure.
the Spanish,
Yeah.
whatever their
All right.
FA's called.
Enjoy.
Germany's similar. They're big onto their
I am.
clauses, but how many English players do you hear being bought for their release clauses? You don't hear it because it's not really a thing in England.
Yeah,
English
I think
football.
Harry Kane didn't Harry Kane have a release clause or something like that, but Man City did not want to go there for some reason.
Is it a release clause or what the team was willing to sell him for?
Yeah.
And my understanding was they didn't want to sell him to City. So it's more probably a preference thing than do you have the money?
And he didn't want to. He didn't want to wrangle for to get out of Tottenham as well.
I mean,
that's on him. He still hasn't won a trophy.
It wasn't a smart move. He won a cannon. So
he won a cannon.
I mean, I don't know. He'll probably win a trophy this year. Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes. All right. Want to get to the Champions League and Monaco, but I also want to just finish up with the disallowed goal at Fulham. And is this Martinelli? It's got to be on Martinelli, right, Gary?
Yep. And he's looking down the line. He knows where he is. He was off to begin, like in the earlier part of that possession there, and because a defender, like I think we had two players actually offsides, and yeah, he has to know where he is. I mean, as everybody said, you have to know your skill set. He knows he's faster than most players, so there's no reason to be offsides in that kind of situation late in the game when you know it's crucial that we get this goal. So it's on him. He messed that up. Yeah, I mean, we'll say this again. That was one opportunity. We had basically 90 minutes to get 2 goals. So the last opportunity, yes, is the one that stings, but where is he for the other 85 minutes when we needed a goal as well, right? Because it's it's the story of our play in those types of games. We rue those chances we didn't take. We didn't take, or we didn't put on target even sometimes. Come back to haunt you. It came back to haunt us again. Right, same thing. I was watching that game, going, "This is the Newcastle game all over again."
Pertinent question there from Michael.
Yeah,
pertinent question there from Michael. Gary, is anyone?
Here's how much I'm into this Martinelli. We need to get goals on the left side. So if that meant we had to sell Trossard, Martinelli, and Jesus to get those goals, I say do it.
Okay.
That's how much I think we need to make a change.
Wow. Tony will tell you he's the first one to have started this dialogue.
Tony's the first for everything that nobody. He was guessing, and you know what? He came to fruition. But
Grasshopper was grasping at a straw, and Grasshopper found the straw.
Gary was aghast by me saying, "Would you sell Martinelli for 50 million?"
Yeah,
you say these things when the players just scored 10 goals for you, and you're like, yeah. Why would I sell a player that just hit double figures for me? It makes no sense.
You know why, Gary?
Same thing with the Milsur Pro. Why would we want to need to sell a player that hits 10 goals for us, right?
Because I've seen what he does over time, Gary.
Yeah, no, you didn't see that he got injured the next season. You didn't foresee that.
Gary, he's barely
you didn't foresee that he would get an injury, which would affect his progression. You did not foresee that.
Tony throws these nuggets out so that at some point in the future he can be proved correct. You know, the fact that we're talking about this.
Can we go back? I was right on Sanchez, right on Ozil, right on Aubameyang.
We were all right on every player at some point in time.
But I
You know?
got lots of nuggets, lots of gold
That's lots of
buried.
nuggets. No, but seriously, Gary has mentioned he'd sell all three of those left-sided players if you could bring a player in January, right? That could fulfill the scoring issues we've had. And Nico Williams, maybe from Spain, right?
Yeah, but you need a person like Tessard that spots runs, can make for runs.
Can we get the starting 11 first before we start going? Well, we need to have some backup too.
You have to have
guess
players.
Guess what? We don't have a backup for Saka, and we seem to be taking that risk. Why would we take the risk on Saka and not on other players? Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Last year, finished the year. Grassard played the last 10 games. He had 6 goals. I think that proves that he scores goals when he's played.
He is a very
and you've also seen this year that he delivered a laser beam into Kai Havertz's head, which Kai almost missed because he was too surprised by it.
His Trossard at moments.
He also lofted about a 65-yard pass to him that Kai had.
You're talking about our backup player, and I'm talking about can we bring?
He's not a backup, Gary.
He can't start for us. Have you seen him starting for us and contributing?
Starter.
Have you seen him contribute for us when he starts?
Not consistent.
Did you not pay attention to what I said, Gary?
No, you're not talking about what we need him to do, which is to score goals and be a lot more of a threat.
Gary's right.
Doing that.
We need goals.
He scored 6 and 10.
When? This year? This season? He scored 6 goals? Like what? We don't have anybody who scored 6 goals this season, Tony.
There's one thing. If you're an attacker, you need to be played regularly. That way, you're hitting your stride. He did that at the end of last season.
You're talking about what? We're talking about this season.
He still got goals.
And last season, how did it work out for him? In the early part of the season, he was not a starter for us. As Martinelli got injured and was knocked out, he came in and then he started. And guess what? His form was really great. Yeah, but he's not a starter for us because we're seeing that this season. It's so inconsistent, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
You're up and down because
you could say, Gary, neither one of them are starters.
He got multiple games in a row to play, and it wasn't good.
I think the problem is
pick one of them.
Tony,
pick one of them.
I don't want either of them. That's why I just told you I'm selling both and getting me a starter.
Yeah, as you've both been saying, I don't think either one are starters. I don't think Martinelli's a starter. I don't think Trossard's a starter. But they've had to start games and they've not.
Well, what do strikers need? Attackers need. They need consistency.
They need service.
Yeah.
They have to be played. And what service does either one of them have on the left side? Near zilch, because it's all. I
don't like when
he started most games for us in a month period, got 0 GA.
Yeah, I don't like when you say Trossard or Martinelli don't have the support. They have players around them that
This isn't baseball.
Declan Rice, Havertz. There's quality players around Martinelli. There's quality players around Trossard. And
he had a month to prove whether he was worth it. He didn't prove it, dude.
Yeah, and the problem is, Gary. The problem is they can't outcompete each other consistently.
What has Rice proved this season?
What do you mean?
He's been super disappointing.
Has our defense been terrible because of Rice?
Compared to
has our defense been terrible because of Rice? Answer me that.
No.
Tony, answer me that. Has our defense been terrible because of Rice?
We started the show talking about the midfield not being good.
Answer the question. Has our defense been poor because of Rice?
You see Rice as
Has our defense been poor
you see
because of
Rice
Rice?
you see Rice as a central defensive midfielder. He hasn't been playing that position. He's been up attacking, which you don't like. So he's not helping defense if he's up attacking, Gary.
Well, everybody helps defend, so that's a lie. Because you know what, Saka, who is our leading goal contributor, will tell you that I have to work harder. I have to work just as hard as on the defense as I do on the offense, and so I
Does
have
it
to make
have
sure.
to?
No, he said it. I believe him,
Does
and
it?
we see it. We see it
Does
from
it have
Martinelli. The
to?
reason why Martinelli and Trossard are Martinelli is better is because he comes back and defends when our left side is weak. We've seen it multiple times. Go in
Uh,
there and clean up
I,
messes. He's done it, and that's what Arteta
this
wants.
this is a comment that we can all maybe agree on. Martinelli's bad because he runs, he never looks up. He always looks at the ground. Absolute garbage. Maybe not absolute garbage, but he doesn't always look for the pass at the right
But
time.
but
He
that's
can't
the
find.
difference. One of them can make for runs, can time the
And
passes. The
someone
other
said,
one can't.
someone else said compared to Saka. I mean, Saka. It's unfair to be compared to Saka because we're talking about possibly a world class player, maybe a world class player in Bukayo Saka in the making. You know, beside Martinelli or Trossard, and they're just not that the same level, you know. But at the same time, our season will depend on Havertz, Martinelli, Trossard, and Odegaard picking up
Yeah,
picking up the levels, picking up the scraps, and getting goals. You know.
do you remember what I told you about 3 or 4 weeks into the season, right?
Yes.
And what was that? That we need 80 million pound players on the bench because they're forced to the bench because you have elite competitions
Yeah.
up and down every position, and we're far from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, there's work that needs to happen with this squad. We worried about the lack of replacements of players going out. We got him with Miles Skelly and Waneri. The coach, the manager, whatever he is, needs to trust these players, trust their abilities. And I have a note or two here about the deficiencies that Arteta has in his managing style. Some of the deficiencies I believe that he has are a deference to senior players at the expense of talent. You know, he'd rather defer to a senior player like maybe Mikel Merino than bring in Ethan Waneri in these
But
critical points in games.
but Ray, we've sat here for 3 years and we haven't figured out the left eight.
Yeah,
Can you just flip one area onto the other side and just try
yeah,
to see what he does over there?
yeah.
I mean, it's gonna hurt.
The other thing that I have a problem with is that Mikel Arteta will move a player out of position, out of his prime position, in order to satisfy one position. And I know Gary's mentioned something similar as well, so we think along the same lines in that respect. Moving Thomas Partey out of midfield so maybe Mourinho can slot in, but you're getting Thomas Partey a right back. Is that the best thing for Thomas Partey? He can do a job for you, a right back for sure, but is it the best thing for the team? Or moving Timber to left back when he looks better at right back, combining with Saka and Odegaard.
We consistently weaken our team across the board as opposed to just in certain spots that we can, as far as I'm concerned, rotate the coverage around to make sure it's not that big of a weakness, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so I'll have one
weakness. For me,
yeah.
I feel like Liverpool knows Trent is not as good as a defender, but they have the defense, I think, in front and around and behind and next to him and stuff that makes up for that deficiency.
Yeah.
What we'll do is we'll take Van Dijk and we'll move him out to the fullback, and we, and weaken our center back pairing.
Van Dijk.
That's kind of what we would do if
Yeah,
we were based on the way that we've done things, right?
yeah.
And I kind of feel like
All right.
no, no, and like why weaken ourselves that much? Especially like I'd rather, like I said, I'd rather be a little weaker on the defense, but be stronger on the offense because that what's sometimes the best defense is an offense, right? And if you're threatening
Yeah,
a team, you're gonna have to watch out for that, and they're gonna put on the brakes in terms of when they put that pressure on, right? But for me, like I said, I'd rather win 4-2 than than be looking
2
at
0.
2-1 games, 1-0. I think Arteta wants a 1-0 game in most cases, and I feel like our defense has shown that's not going to work this season. So in my eyes, if I'm Arteta, we need 2 goals for me to feel comfortable that we're going to get
I,
the win in a game. And even
I,
then, it's not guaranteed. We've seen how many times have we had a 2-1 lead in a game and we've lost.
Yeah.
We've not get that third goal
yeah.
and put it away.
Do you think Arteta goes to sleep with that playing in the background? 1-0 to Arsenal. Do you think
What
that's
was
what
the game we won recently where we conceded some goals, but we scored many?
This season,
Yeah, I thought we won a game 4. We won a game 5-2, wasn't it? I can't remember who it
yeah,
was.
against West Ham, we kind of gave up. We when we went
Oh,
up
we gave
four
up the
now,
2 goals. That's
went up
right.
four
Yeah,
0 right, and put
yeah.
a lot of pressure. They almost got that
So
third goal,
a
and then
lot
we
a
got
lot
the
of
fourth.
people wouldn't like that 3-0, Gary, but I get what you're saying. Rather win
Yeah,
a
but
game,
like they went three
sometimes
0
5,
5-2, same difference in
same
my
difference.
eyes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like, and you saw what happened when you scored the fifth goal. They basically went, well, you know what, crap.
That's it. It's
You
over.
know what? They have,
Yeah,
and that's the thing. You have to respond. Once we responded to them thinking they had a chance, they realized if we keep going at this, they're gonna take us, right?
yeah.
So that's why we need to get that second goal and take the
No
2 goal
embers
lead,
left in the fire.
right? So yeah,
Yeah,
so I think that's what that's kind of how I feel like teams will react. But when you go 20, 30, 40 minutes of the game and you're not testing, that's what happened in the Newcastle game, right? We didn't do anything. They had one opportunity, they took it, right? And right before that, we had an opportunity as well, right? Same thing, Bournemouth game, just before the red card, we had an opportunity to take a lead. If we take a lead,
Martinelli again.
things could have been different, right? So
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying I'm selling those 3 players, Martinelli included, getting us if we can get somebody who's better suited to get goals on that left side. So, yeah,
I've heard people say even if you don't buy a left-sided player, like Bukayo Saka could play in that left wing position.
just
'Cause
what do you need more goals up top? Like
Mhm.
more goals. Trossard, I mean not Trossard, but Havertz is not going to do it the way we play. I think if we had, I don't even need a Saka on the other side. I need better than what we got, and I think that's at least
Doable.
half of what Saka is.
Yeah,
Right? If you gave me
I've been
half of what if you gave me half of Saka on the other side, that's better than I think what we have right now.
toward the end of the window, the summer window. I became quite interested in Brian and Buemo
There's so many
at
players like that we
Brentford.
can get. I mean, you look at any Wizza from all these players that I
Was
don't
this
know
a
what
bit
if
older?
I don't
Yeah,
know if they're on the right side of the field and stuff like that,
yeah.
but there's all these players we're looking at that would be should be role players for us, but would actually be better than our starters in
Have the
some cases.
qualities. Yeah, better than Martinelli. Maybe better than Trossard. Trossard plays in. He comes good for a group of games and then he goes quiet. Better than Sterling. Better than Jesus. You know, and that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at at least 4 players in our squad who are underperforming, not even performing to the levels you would expect them to keep us afloat at. You know, Martinelli, Trossard, Jesus, and Sterling, and some of them are not getting consistent games either. Um, Sterling's a better player, says Michael. Michael also says here that the the consistent selection of Martinelli sums up Arteta and his ability of us at the moment. Is there better than Martinelli that he can pick though? Some would argue it's
Trossard?
Trossard, but it's not consistently better. Like for me, Trossard is not making it impossible to keep picking him. He's making it possible for Martinelli to come back into teams. You know what I mean? He's not putting Martinelli away in terms of competition. You know, he's not head and shoulders. But anyway, let's move on to the Champions League.
And Ray, you
Yeah,
seen that he actually did better when he was dropped back into the midfield.
Trossard.
Yeah,
Yeah, listen, if you tell me I'd play Trossard in the left eight, I would, I would probably agree with you to do
But
something
he's
with that.
done nothing there, so
Ethan Waneri
it's not like
or
we're getting
Trossard.
more. I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
and that's the thing about Trossard, Gary.
yeah,
He plays in snatches. You'll feel good about him for 4 or 5 games, but then he'll go quiet for 4 or 5 games.
yeah.
And this season, above all seasons, where we fought Man City for 2 seasons now, and Rodri drove them forward last season. This season, Rodri's out of the picture. We need to be back in that picture against Liverpool and City. City will be there, but they're not going to be the force they were last season under Rodri. We've seen so many L's in their recent form guide. You know, let's move to the Champions League and this win against Monaco. Tony, 2 games ago, you were talking about not being in the top, maybe not being in the top 8, or we'd have to win games to get into the top 8, and goal difference would be a big deciding factor. Well, I told you when we got to game 6 or 7, goal difference would become less and less of a thing.
yay, Ray.
You see, I can be right as well, Gary, sometimes. Broken watch and all that,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, they did say if you hit the 15, 16 point, you're definitely in. You could eventually finish in the top 8, and that's probably where we are right now. Right. Right now, we are sitting at
Third.
13.
Any game? There was no games today?
No. Today's Thursday, so
Yeah.
no Champions League today. You remember that's why we were happy to not play in all those other European games because we don't want to play on Thursday. So
Yeah.
No, so I think so. We're right. We're right.
Hey,
where
there
we wanna
was one or
be.
two games on a Thursday this season, okay?
Yeah, but not now.
Not now.
But like I said, I think we were right there where we want to be in terms. We have 2 games to get 16, which should probably give us the top 8 spot. But we can win both of those games, and I think we should do that. We should attempt. We should be trying to win the rest of every game we play, including that one. So, yeah, no, we're goal difference. I mean, our goal difference is basically third in the league. Well, tied for third in the league, and the teams that are sitting tied with us on goal difference, the highest one is in 9th place. So, and it's only a point away, but it's still, so that's how close it is, But we're doing what we want to do. We've got probably one of the easiest schedules to see out this season.
Yeah,
to see out this group stage or this league stage.
Let's not say that in Arsenal because you've seen what we've done since
We went through
off these seasons.
There are easier games if you look at the 2 teams we have to play. Right, one is Girona sitting 30th. The other one is
Zagreb or something like that.
Zagreb. They're sitting 24th. I think Dynamo, right?
Is it Dynamo?
Dynamo.
Yeah. One of those 2 we have next.
So they're 24th and 30th. So yes, they are some of the worst teams in the league.
Bombed.
Okay, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the football right now.
Oh, you're going to get a yellow card.
Yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with anything right
topic.
now. But like I said, we're like Girona gave Liverpool a test, right? But I mean, they're at some point they're gonna go. We're too far. Like right now, they have to win their next 2 matches, Girona, just to make sure they can even get in the top.
And Madrid have to be careful.
And that actually might not get them in because the most they can get is 9 points, and right now 24th place has 8. So it's going to be really tough for them to to probably get into the top
No,
24 anyways.
Girona are probably the team that will be eliminated. I mean, Girona is a team you maybe were worried about at the beginning of the season because they had a good previous last season, but they tailed away and not lived up. A little bit like Lons in season past when we played Lons, and were beaten there. That was kind of a one season wonder. BX Gunner said third through eighth only separated by goal difference, or is it 1 point? I believe there's some points in there. But yeah, I was like,
No, ninth is the highest team with at a 1 point difference. So yeah, he's right.
is it 1
Everybody
point difference or a goal difference?
1 point.
Okay, so we're
And
sitting on
the
13
ninth and tenth,
points
the ninth and 10th team, which is Dortmund and Bayern Munich,
on 12.
are sitting on the same goal difference, a point back.
Yeah, are they on 12 points then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so it is a little bit tight, but
So it's close,
what
but
we wanted,
we control our own destiny. We
that's
went
it.
out and we're
Exactly.
in.
That's what we wanted, where we wanted to be in game 7 and 8. We wanted to be in a position where we control our own destiny, Tony. And
I don't like it when we control our own destiny.
But you know what? That's the
Every
only
time
way
it
this
ends
works,
in
you don't
Tony.
failure.
like it when we don't control our own
How in the
destiny.
world can we win something if we don't control our own destiny, Tony? That's the only way you win
Because
anything.
every time so far it's ended in
But that's
disaster.
what you have to learn from it. That's the trick, is to learn from it.
So let me get this straight, Gary.
But as
Tony-
I've already learned,
Tony doesn't like it when it's in our own destiny, and he doesn't like it when it's not in our own destiny. So
Yeah.
Tony's just got a lot of fear in his life.
Yeah.
it's because I've seen what Arteta does.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We have to learn from it, and if not,
I've
then we
seen
have to
what
make
Arteta's
changes,
done.
right? Yeah.
That's like a testimonial. I've seen what Arteta's done.
I've seen us being in a knockout European game. What do we do? So let's go play Granit Xhaka for the second time at left back, and let's lose. Way to go, Arteta.
Some talk about Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne leaving City, and would Arsenal entertain taking him? Gary, there's too many miles on that tank.
On who?
KDB.
Yeah,
Who
it's
would you
time.
take?
I think he's getting old, right? I
Okay.
mean, think about it. The last couple of seasons, they've been winning despite him, and that's because of his availability, right?
Yeah.
He's shown up when he can, but I think, as they say,
Injuries.
farther time catches you, no matter when, no matter how fast you are, and
Can we just make
time has
our
come.
There
we
is
just
something, but there is something strange going on with City that Pep has refused to maybe bring KDB in. Pep has come up with strange lineups where Grealish and Doku have not been there. He was not adventurous at all at Anfield. Went there with a weak team with low confidence and didn't really have a go. And you know what? The media didn't really have a go at him because City didn't have a go at Anfield. When Arsenal didn't have a go at Man City, we heard about it as Arsenal fans. You know what I mean? Happy to take a draw. That's what they said. But anyway, 3-0 against Monaco, Tony. Bukayo Saka turning up with the first goal. And, this is where Skelly gets some props here, right? For the old pre-assist, Tony.
It's not hockey. We don't care about hockey. It's this way.
You need to take that back right now.
He does care.
Because
What?
you know what? That's kind of what I'm looking for from Zinchenko, who supposedly is the better player, supposedly.
Yeah. Inverting
I'm looking
left back.
for him to do those types of things, which help us score, because that's basically how I can't rank him on his defense. So if it's not the defense, then how does he contribute to our attack? And I don't remember when's the last time you said you just see that pass from Zinchenko, which created the assist from whoever we played on the left, Martinelli, whoever, right? When is the last time you said that?
No, not many.
I don't remember. Can you remember?
If
Nobody
any.
can remember because
No.
it doesn't happen too often.
Maybe one against Everton last season, maybe at home.
I'm
Coincidentally, we have
sure.
Everton this weekend.
I'm sure it happened plenty of times. And
It
There's a
has not
secret.
like
happened.
this
It
last
hasn't
season.
happened enough for him to justify his spot on the team.
There's a
Tony,
secret video of Tony singing the "Glory, Glory, Man United"
there has
song.
been a time. No, there's not been no time. You've not seen it enough to
No,
justify him being on this.
no. You know what I remember, Gary and Tony, is this season alone, Miles Skelly and Waneri playing balls behind, between the goalkeeper and behind the defenders into that channel. And we don't see that from the senior players enough. Waneri
Yeah.
fed a few balls like that in the
You,
Carabao
you,
Cup in previous rounds.
you see
Scored a couple of
Gabrielle do it
goals.
frequently.
What's that?
Gabrielle does it frequently.
So you're talking about our center back in comparison to our fullback. Is that what you're doing?
Martinelli. Hopefully, he's talking about Martinelli, but you don't know.
I'm talking about Gabrielle does long balls.
So, but we're talking.
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe I missed it. We just
We're
moved on.
talking
We moved
about
away?
balls into the box that hit the 6 yard area, and Saka's on the end of it, such as this goal. You know what I mean? It happened in the Carabao Cup as well. But great pass from Skelly to Jesus, and Jesus, he's the one who creates the assist for Saka. You know, Arsenal 1-0 up against Monaco, and we're away. Stan said there's another secret tape of Tony, but it's currently in the hands of the feds.
Yeah, I don't even want to know.
That's the one in the dressing room, you know, like Saliba, right, Tony? It's the Saliba Tony incident.
Now, let's not talk about Willie Winker.
Well, you know exactly. This is where I didn't want to go.
All right, let's talk football then. Bukayo Saka, Gary, since Stan's in the chat box, you know,
I still don't know. He got out
Stan
of
has
trouble
been
on
waiting for this thing called a brace, Gary. He's been waiting for a
He
player
hasn't
to score
even. I
2
don't know if
goals.
he's even mentioned it. Did he mention it? He asked for a player that can score 2 goals in a game.
He did ask for it.
And
Yeah.
did he not get it?
He got it.
Is he happy?
Are you not entertained, Stan?
Stan, are you happy? Did you see what you wanted to see, or do we need? Does he need to do more?
Now we want 3, Gary. Now we want 3.
I mean, a hat trick. Yeah.
Be nice.
I think Stan wants to see it in the Premier League.
Okay. Now you're moving the goalposts.
So here we
Tony.
go. So like
Tony
Saka's had 2 goal contributions in back-to-back games already this season.
3 games in a row.
3 games in a row. One was a Champions League, but still,
Yeah.
3 games in a row. He's
Hey.
had it has he had it in back-to-back Premier League games? No, but yeah, I guess he had it in back-to-back. He had 1 goal, but there you go. I feel like, you know what, he's the best we got right now. So if anybody's
Yeah.
going to do it, it's going to be him.
Exactly. Taking the words out of my mouth tonight, Gary.
Yeah,
You know, the food I'm about to eat, you're just grabbing it from me.
I ain't taking your food. What are you eating, anyways?
Cake,
No,
chocolate cake.
I do like cake, so
There you go, from a sweet street. Yeah.
You can't talk about cake in front of me.
But yeah, like you said, Gary, if anyone's going to do it, it would have been Bukayo Saka. You would think it could have been Kai Havertz, but Bukayo Saka was the one who gets 2. You know, the second goal, courtesy of Kai Havertz in the hustle. Goalkeeper's playing out from the back. Yeah, and what happened with, did Havertz get in the way?
yeah, I think Havertz either got in the way and deflected it, or the goalkeeper trying to clear it didn't get that far because he was under pressure.
Is he talking about the OG being impossible?
Yeah, and Havertz did steal his hat trick, but I don't know if that ball goes in if Havertz doesn't touch it. So
it wasn't strong enough, was it? Was it strong enough?
No, it was definitely strong enough because he didn't have to do much. That ball zinged off
to beat the keeper.
But yeah, because I think so.
Okay. Red John said, guys, City might not qualify for the next round of the Champions League, would that just be marvelous? Absolutely. I don't know what position
Could be
City
good
are
or
in.
bad for them, right? They might need that break, less
They're
games.
going to be in a playoff situation, right?
Yep.
What's this? So, is it a seeded playoff, Tony, or is it a draw?
It's seeded, but it's not like I don't think it's the best playing
All right.
worst though. I think
So
it's.
ninth plays 24th, and so on and so forth.
I don't think they do it that way. I think it's
Okay.
like because it's two sets, right? So you're gonna have 9 through what is it? 9 through 7? Is it 9 through 17? I guess it is.
9 through 24
Nine through,
for
well, no, but
16.
there's the two levels, right? So they're gonna play each other. So like you said, the ninth will play the 24th. But I think the way that I believe that they go is they might play
And,
9. I forgot what it is, but
yeah, 9.
there's like 4 sets it seems that they could play.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I
So
don't. It's something
we're gonna
we
have a
discussed.
balls.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a ball in a bowl, balls and bowl situation.
They're not they're gonna do that except for like the first one.
Somebody will have
They're
to
going,
tickle the balls, Tony.
there's only like one they had to tickle the balls.
Only
Right?
Rio Ferdinand is good at that, tickling the balls. Looked like an old goal, said Tiger.
Yeah.
Is it Swiss or Swedish model this shit's based off of? I mean, literally, Ray, they were having the computer pick like 3,000 balls before it would like spit out
We'll go with
who,
Swedish.
who your next opponent would be.
We'll go with Swedish. Michael said City might not qualify for the Champions League next season. You know what?
We got our fellow Swede with us, Swedish chef.
I'm just gonna say we did a prediction.
Don't
podcast.
skip over my Swedish chef game joke. Come on.
Okay? Let me hear your Swedish joke. Go ahead.
I said we have a Swedish chef sat next to you.
Oh my God, that's an old joke. You can't rejig old jokes. You know what I mean? What was I gonna say? Yeah,
I still use for bicycles.
we did a prediction. We did a prediction podcast where I predicted the top 4, and the present 4 teams that I picked are in that top 4 right now. But City could drop out of the top 4. They might not even qualify for the Champions League next season. You know. Havertz getting that goal is a case of stolen valor. I'm going to skip past Paul Pot. I'm not a fan of Paul Pot. Right?
I really wish, Ray, that can you imagine if they were doing what Amazon was doing City this year? Boy, that'd be nice and juicy stuff.
Pep is playing the angel. At the training ground.
He's probably at this point. He's probably trying to find an angel.
Guys, we have to go to the Emirates in February. I'm going to play this music. Mikel has done this. I wonder how our friend Colonel Ward is doing. Oh my God, Paul Pot. You're bad. You're a bad man. Yeah. So 3-0 win. Comprehensive in the end, Gary, against Monaco. I liked what Thierry Henry had to say. He's got mad respect for Monaco, but it's Arsenal first, it's Arsenal second, it's Arsenal third.
Yeah, no, the Monaco game, of course, we made it close once again. We got lucky.
They hung in, right? Yeah.
They looked much better in the second half, but we scored more goals, but late in that second half. So that you can't do that. You can't have your striker have 2 opportunities one-on-one with the goalkeeper and not get it. You can't have your Erdogan run off. Do all the hard work to get the ball. Right? He did all the hard work to get that ball.
Through.
Now he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he can't put it on target.
Yeah.
Martinelli, same thing. I mean, I think he went offsides on that one. But Jesus had two Havertz, it's not Havertz, but Erdegaard had I think 2 chances. Martinelli had chances. I mean, you got to put those shots on target, right? And not so much. I mean, we had too many tries at it to get 3 or 4 goals to go in that first half and look much better. So yeah, no, I just like if people were concerned about Jesus if he's got it, then no, he don't.
Yeah.
I think for me, Erdegaard is not 100% back yet, but the fact that he was pressing up top is a good
Yeah.
sign. So
I thought he looked good again.
I'm gonna give him
Yeah.
a leeway until he's fully back. But no,
I thought
Jesus,
Odegaard would have started scoring by now, honestly. And the fact that he hasn't scored anything other than the penalty that was gifted to him is a bit of a concern to me for Odegaard.
It's not his fault, right?
Somebody saying, I don't necessarily agree. I understand somebody said it to you, Gary, but I don't necessarily agree that people saying Odegaard's game is not about goals and assists. So I believe a lot of it is about goals.
Well,
and
because he's
assists.
so far away, a lot of times he's the furthest back.
Yeah,
and then he does move up.
Got to
But a
be
lot
in
of
it.
times, yeah, but that's because but we're doing all right, and that's why.
It's what your uncle tells him to do, right?
Yeah. Tony, there's one of them drones behind you. It's funny, off air we were talking about those drones.
Have you been updated on drones or?
No, I have not yet. They've apparently reached my area of the world as well. I'm convinced Gary's the control center is in Gary's domain right now.
I'm sure it is because I know he has like a Amazon or Google server like right in his house because he's watch along. Gary's always 30 seconds ahead of everybody, even in England.
Yes.
He's ahead
That's
of them.
How
not
do you
true.
do that?
That's only on like away games or games that aren't broadcast.
Gary has a cable guy.
Like the games at 3 p.m. I don't think are broadcast, so that's when we get it. Yeah.
It's like with dark arts. Gary knows what dark
Gary
arts
has a cable guy hooking him up.
You guys are not making any sense. Let's move on.
We will move on. This channel's name actually captures Arsenal Football Club perfectly. They got us going in circles.
True.
Not winning anything and somehow keeping our hopes up so they can raise ticket prices. See, we're going back to the movies where true grit could mean anything, True grit could be Arsenal, true grit. Grinding out wins from here on into the end of the season. Tenko was 79's TV show that was set on Japanese prisoner war camp. Had the same lamps.
Yeah, that's what year I was born. Yeah.
I was just trying to read up on the Champions League and like the way that the seeding goes. It isn't the 9th place at 24th. The 9th has a 50% chance of playing either the 23rd or 24th team. That's how they're doing it.
50% chance. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know how they would weight that in that way. You know what I mean?
They probably have.
Like, what would be mad, Gary?
Because they know who the top 8 team, the second 8 teams, ranked teams
9 to 15,
9 to 15. They would just be
9 to 17.
They would just be, I don't know, 2 balls maybe.
Yeah.
And the first ball, whichever ball they get, is the one that they play, and the other team. So they only have to draw it like 4 times.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
and it will be a 2-legged affair as well.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing, and the same thing happens in the round of 16. So for the top 2 teams that are ranked, they will either play the 15th or 16th team, and same thing for the 3rd and 4th team. They would play either the 13th or the 14th.
So it is slightly seeded. It will be.
It's slightly seeded. Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to achieve that, but
damn bipods.
Yeah, and in the quarterfinals, the top 2 seeded teams can only play the eighth or seventh seeded teams. I don't know what
Right.
that means, but I mean that's how it typically would. Well, yeah. So so you don't have a 100% chance of playing the worst team if you're the best team.
Yeah. And for instance, if you're Arsenal, you finish in the top four, let's say, for instance, top four amongst 32 teams or whatever there are, you would have an actually a very good chance of being seeded for a quarterfinal where you would meet one of those teams who have had to play off in either 9th through
Yep. Yep.
24th place.
Yep.
Okay, so there is a a sense that being well positioned in the top eight gives you a springboard into the rest of the competition. You know? Yeah. Okay.
Also, the reason why they announced the Super League the day before they voted on the new format, because guess what? It almost all everything that was in the Super League pretty much in this. You just don't have a set of teams. But
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
I will.
Well, I kind of went. I watched the game. I watched the game back, right? Because I wanted. I always every once in a while I'll take
Monaco
another
game.
look. Because yeah, because I did. I tried. I was watching it, but it's kind of like working, kind of like. So I really just was listening to the game. So then I went back and I watched it when I got home. Yeah, disappointing the way like Skelly stood out for me,
Yeah.
right? Like from what I saw from Skelly, I guess he must have been hopefully he was injured and Arteta wasn't just holding him back. He
Yeah.
looked really good out there. I know it might have been Monaco. They might have been like not the most challenging team, but we haven't played that many challenging teams where he shouldn't have gotten an opportunity. But from what I saw, he looked really good. As I said, he contributed to the it's an opening goal of the game, right? So yes, bring him, let him play, right? Let him play.
Mm-hmm.
Saka does what he does. I think Erdogan was really influential. We didn't miss Partey in the midfield. We controlled that game pretty much. Kirior
well,
looked really good. Kirior put the ball on a dime to Jesus from the back line. He should score,
Yes.
right? So like everybody, like it was hard to find like people talked about Rice doing. I mean, I think
You had players missing.
everybody did really well except for our striking.
We couldn't find the corners, Gary. We couldn't find left or right of the feet of the goalkeeper. We couldn't find the top corners because the shots that were coming in wide from Odegaard,
Yeah,
wide from Trossard, I believe,
yeah.
and Jesus straight at the goalkeeper.
Because I mean, the pass that Skelly made, like from when you look at it, it was like had to be inch perfect to get
Yeah,
between the two defenders that were sitting. They weren't even sitting like next to each other. They were kind of at one was a little bit further behind than the other one,
the front
and
apart. Yeah.
very nice pass to get it to Jesus, who puts the cross in. Um, yeah. So yeah, no, I feel like we did everything but put the ball in the net. That was it. We had more than enough chances to do it, and that's my other thing. We gave ourselves more chances to score. We scored more. And when we don't, we
Mm-hmm.
struggle, right? So I think
As Tiger
it's a
said,
lesson
Odegaard.
to be learned there.
Odegaard missed the sitter.
Erdogan missed that sitter, and Jesus missed a sitter. Martinelli. I say Martinelli had a shot that he missed, but he might have been offsides. But you know, Saka took.
Inexcusable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
Jesus had a lot of opportunities. So yeah.
inexcusable. And the players will know, especially in the Premier League where we are third place, but
Mm,
potentially 6 to 9 points behind Liverpool. They We can't afford any more prolificacy uh, in front of goal.
mm,
Missing clear cut chances like that. It's hard enough to make clear cut chances in the Premier League, but you need to take them, and you need to start putting pressure on Liverpool. You know, and I can't but think that Liverpool escaped a tough game at Everton as well due to the Hurricane Dara I think it was last weekend.
They might get like they might just put pressure on them later.
Everton beaten Wolves 4-0, Gary. Everton were feeling good about themselves, and Liverpool had drawn 3-3 at Newcastle with maybe some confidence chipped a little bit. And the weather interrupted, Tony. The weather interrupted again. But we'll see. We will face up against Everton, a team traditionally we have done well against. There's been one or two horror shows against Everton. Question here, or comment, Red John. Salah is like the modern Thierry Henry. You can't stop him. I would still argue that Thierry Henry is was a much better Premier League player than Mo Salah is, because of his general play, his assists, and his goals. Salah is scoring, the goals and assists are there, but I don't see him doing what Thierry Henry would used to do.
He doesn't dominate a game like Henry
does not
does.
dominate games. Yeah.
He is clinical to a degree and all of that, but like where you want to close out a game, you put the ball at Henry's feet, game is closed out.
Yeah.
Salah, at least for me, doesn't have that kind of ball skill that I've seen him use.
Yeah.
Right. So for they're different to some degree, different players, but the longevity of Salah is one of the key features as well. Right. They needed goals. He's been one of the key people. So
you're picking an all-time team, Gary. Who are you picking? Can I pick one of the two?
Yeah, Henry's getting picked. I mean, everybody's picking Henry over Salah if there's a pick between the two. I mean, it's like there's probably a lot of people out there who have better stats than Zidane, but you're probably going to pick Zidane if you're picking a team in a lot of situations, right?
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. You can't always have all the stats and the talent as well.
So, catching up on the questions that I put a star beside Tony, and Stan might still be in the chat here. Ray, what do you make of the sacking of David Coote? I mean, his position became untenable, Tony, right? You're on mute. This is Christmas tree muting. Go ahead. David Coote.
Yeah, I mean, there's not any other choices there.
What?
What?
You said it was unattainable.
Under the captions of Netflix, that would be like unaudible or inaudible. Inaudible chatter. What was that, Tony?
I said you said it was unattainable. I don't know what else you're trying to give me.
You have no comments on Coote. You think that's it? We just go. No comments.
You could have some context. You could add to it if you want. Yeah, his position became untenable.
Can you tell us something that he did 10 years ago? Because you seem to know a history on most things.
Maybe there is correspondence between Tony and David Coote from 10 years ago. The PGMOL will be very interested to bring to light. Maybe Stan knows there's some tapes out there.
Why is he so quiet all of a sudden?
Yes.
What's going on?
We're talking about an official who allegedly did something bad, and Tony's gotten very quiet. This is all very suspect, Tony.
Is that one of your? Is that one of your? Is that one of your clients or something? Is that why you're sad? I don't know what's going on.
I sent people messages about it, never get any replies. So that was 2.5 fucking weeks ago. So I don't really care.
Let me just ask you a question. You don't want to answer it now.
Do you know who David Coote is, Tony?
Yes.
What is going on? You have to say about everything. All of a sudden now, oh, I talked about it 2 weeks, so I can't talk about it now. When you can talk about things that happened like 10 years ago that nobody even cares about.
Tony just searched.
But something that just happened 2 weeks ago. Oh, I'm done chatting about the past.
Gary, here's the truth, baby. Tony is the one who leaked the video.
Is that what it is? Tony, that was Tony behind the camera, and he said, "Please don't release it." And Tony heard, "Please release it." And next, you know,
He's
bang.
like, no, but seriously, guys, don't. This guy's livelihood depends upon this. Don't release the video, Tony.
And Tony, he did with that smile, said, I got you, coach. I got you, buddy. I will not release this for 2 years, 4 years."
Tony
Some
wants to talk
kid.
about Lyndon Lazardi. David Cooper was helping Arsenal by stopping Liverpool. Now watch LFC dominate the league. Yeah, I don't. David Cooper was not helping Arsenal. He sent off Tommy Asu, I believe, in one season, a couple of seasons ago, for a delayed throw-in. You know what I mean? We suffered by throw-ins. Martinelli got a double red,
You know what? I think that's another thing
double
I don't
yellow.
like about the way we play. When we have a throw in, everybody seems to just like stop running, moving. They start hiding behind the defenders. I'm like, no wonder it takes forever
Yeah.
for us to throw the ball in. It's like we have an
Hiding on the pitch.
intricate
Yeah.
way of playing when it's a corner, but on a throw in, you know how many times I was thinking about this when I was watching the game. How many times when we have a throw in do we just throw the ball back to them? Or
It's
when a throw
all,
happens, it ends up back with the team. It's almost like where we used to get how we used to kick the long ball from our goalkeeper, and you might as well just guarantee it's going back to the other team. You
Yeah.
watch our throw-ins. We are so poor at that. Like we do. How can just the corner? Like so, we only have one guy who does the corner, and that's it. Everybody, the throw-in, the open play style that we want to play, we don't have
Yeah, that was
anybody.
last season, Lonzo. Yeah. But
So
still, I mean, it's about
you
the
watch it. You
officiating.
watch it. Everybody, no, there's nowhere to throw to. So he doesn't. They don't throw to anybody. It's like this. It's like what?
Tony, go to the
I,
light.
I can honestly say, right,
Yeah.
that I've seen Ben White take more foul throw-ins than I've seen my entire career watching football.
Yeah.
Because he had like 4 in that one year. It's just like, how do
Yeah.
you not know how to throw a ball in?
Listen,
And
professional
why?
footballers, they're not the best at everything. You know what I mean?
But first, it takes him 45 seconds to fish the ball from wherever it landed, 5 foot away from him. Then,
Yeah.
like Gary says, nobody fucking moves. It's like they're playing a game of musical chairs, and the music is stopped.
Yeah.
And
Um,
or they're playing
as
green
Stan,
light, red light, and
yeah,
nobody's moving.
as Stan said, it's doubtful that that David Coot is an isolated situation, and there is something wrong with that organization. You know what I mean? And there will be um, more individuals under the spotlight in time. Gary, would Rashford be a good signing?
No thanks.
Michael,
Next
no,
question.
pass. Okay.
As I was trying to say earlier, it's like, can we just stop signing anybody from the
Rehab.
so-called big six?
So he wouldn't benefit from an Arteta rehab or rehash.
We haven't even completed Kai. We're not going to take on another one.
All right, here's an easy one. Is Saka the most informed player in Europe right now? Eesh. I'm not sure what else is going on out there in Europe because we are Arsenal fans and we watch
I don't,
Arsenal. You know,
I don't watch enough
football.
anymore.
Yeah,
I used to when I could turn on the TV and watch it, but now I have to make sure what streaming service I have it on to be able
yeah,
to find the. I remember I liked it when NBC first got it because on the satellite, each game had a channel, so you could
Mhm.
just flip from game to game. Instead, you have to
Yeah.
Yeah.
jump in
Alonso,
and out of apps.
I'll drop the link in the chat here for toward the end, but we are wrapping up pretty soon.
Yeah. I don't
So,
know. I mean, who? I mean, you've got Salah is really playing really well right now, right?
yeah.
What other player is playing that well right now consistently that you can think of? Everybody seems to be up and down, up and down, up and down. But Salah, I think,
Yeah.
not Salah, but Saka and Salah seem to be
And
two
I'm
informed
not in
players.
a situation where I would say give me Salah over Saka right now, you know, because he is our player. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's like well, I don't want to. Well, I need. As you say, I need like I don't know, Trent. I
You
guess.
need more.
You know what I mean? There's not too many
There's
players on
Trent
their
Arby.
team that are doing it enough that I would say, yeah, I want that player. But as a team, they play really well, right? So
Apparently, Sterling's loan has an obligation to buy if he plays over a
that was
certain
a
number
stupid,
of games.
stupid loan. Oh, I never brought him in if that was the loan.
So, if this are we holding back his appearances due
Well,
to
I would have never
a
signed that
certain number
thing.
of
It's
games?
like there's nothing long term about his joining
This
Arsenal.
was more or less like a friend trying to get another friend out of a
Yeah, just you
jam, right?
just wasted Sterling's time if that's part of the deal in my eyes.
Yeah. Paul Pod thinks Rafinha is the most informed player. Rafinha is doing very well at
Mm.
Barca.
Yes.
Rafinha, Vinny Jr. Hey, there was one other question that I think I skipped. There is a rumor that Arsenal
How
are
how
going
are
to expand the
Barcelona's
stadium.
finances
The
doing?
expansion. Tony, do you think
What?
Arsenal will sell their best players again and not invest in? Tony's the perfect person to ask this question to, right? Spin your
No,
conspiracy theory. Come on.
it's totally different now because there's a lot more TV money. You don't see Spurs hurting for money
Mm.
No, as
because
long
of
as they
their
can put a
stadium.
concert on and an
Yeah.
NFL game on, they'll be good.
And isn't that why Arsenal would expand so they could get some of the seven or however many NFL games they're played there a year now?
No, no, Tony. It would be because of the backlog of fans who want to see Arsenal.
But fans
I
could
believe.
see them if they didn't scalp their tickets to people because
Well, yeah.
there's still plenty of times there are 45,000 people in a stadium, but it says they're 60,000 whatever
Yeah.
odd it holds.
And
Yeah.
I
I was just looking this up just because we're
attendance.
talking about the in Europe on foreign players.
Yeah.
In terms of goals and assists, Salah is number one, and then there's this Omar Mamouche from Frankfurt, Harry Kane, and then
Yeah.
Lewandowski are the top four. So four different leagues,
Okay.
top teams, and then you've got in terms of four players are coming
Harry Kane.
from the Premier League.
Yeah.
Two players I think are coming from Germany. Atalanta is Italian, right? Is
Yeah.
Italy, right? So
Yeah.
three teams from Barcelona and one team from Italy. So if you want to go down that route in terms of the top 10 players, and according to GA, four from the Premier League, three from Barcelona, two from
Wow.
Germany, and one from Italy. So
Three players from Barcelona.
in the top 10,
So
yes,
they must be scoring bucketload of
yes,
goals.
yes.
And then you have you said Harry Kane. So
Mm.
could this be the year that he wins a trophy?
Yeah, I think Bayern Munich is doing well, right? I don't know, right?
Koscielny, not Koscielny, company.
Yeah. Well, I
Tony's
mean,
trying to
you've got
play Christmas tree in the background, aren't you, Tony?
Oh, Christmas trees in other direction.
mm,
What?
So the Christmas trees totally the other direction.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
they lost in the round of 16. At least I don't know if this is a. I think the round of 16 in the German league game. I think it is. DFB
Oh,
Bolka. So I think they're
Bayern
out of
Munich.
that. I think they're out of that one. So that's
There
one
you go,
trophy
Ray.
gone. So yeah. So not
You
so
got
good.
your Christmas tree appearance day.
Red John's getting it. All the Christmas tree stuff he needs. Dan Ashworth is the most football person in Europe. He has a 100% success rate of finishing his own career at every club he joins. Never seen anyone this clinical before. And listen, I think I'd like to go for the guy at Real Sociedad as well.
There's a couple of
So,
players, Real Sociedad, and there's another player as well. Another person. I think that the PSG guy is also up there. So
they don't
uh,
seem to have the stink of that Man United, whatever's going on over there at Man United,
yeah. I
which
mean, I named off the players that he signed. We would take a lot of those first 10
sure,
players, the top
yeah,
10 players that he has on his list of like his resume of who I brought in.
yeah.
So
So,
if that's what, like, I don't know what, that's why I'm saying something, as you said, stinky probably happened at United, or it's just a relationship thing. So,
yeah, so maybe it's not. Maybe it's the situation that he landed in Manchester United
yeah.
in. You know what I mean? So
I think we're definitely factions there. It's
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, at the
not much
weekend now.
unity there.
Mm.
At the weekend now, we play Everton on Saturday, I believe, and Man United and Man City play each other. That's going to be a crazy Manchester derby that anyone can. If both could lose, they would both lose if that was possible.
Root what you always do. Draw us, Ray. Draw.
That's crazy though. How bad are Man City and how bad are United as well? So they've got a great chance of actually. Um, Man United have a great chance of winning over City.
Here you have United. I think they're in 13th, and I remember Ray wanting poor Ole sacked when United were finishing second and third consecutively.
Uh,
Well,
Dan,
what did Gunner do to you? What did Ole Gunner do to you, Ray?
who? Ollie.
Yeah, you
What?
always wanted him sacked for some reason, even though he was doing a good
No,
job.
I was quite happy with him to maintain his position. Anytime you have a Manchester United manager who is winning one, losing one, that's always a good record
Yeah,
for
but
me.
they finished second and third, right?
And Ten Hag was the same as well. You know what I mean? For me. Okay, so Arsenal play Everton at home, and who do Liverpool play? Yeah. Oh, here we go. Liverpool play Fulham at Anfield. So you do wonder, Gary, if Fulham can go to Anfield and give them a game.
We'll see if I think a lot of times we've seen this happen where we struggle against a team. Everybody goes, how'd you struggle against them? And then like games
Mm.
after that, people are like,
Uh huh.
oh, huh, they are that good, or
Yeah.
if we don't do what we need to do, we can get punished. So hopefully that's the case this time, right?
Okay.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
I think Fulham has surprised a lot of teams in the past. When they've surprised us, right?
Yeah.
So Nottingham Forest surprised us, and surprised other people as well.
And
The team that beat us in the cup match, right? And the team that we see now, right? Same club, different players, but they've been able to surprise a lot of people, right? So we'll see how this plays out. But Fulham
yeah.
does have the weapons. I mean, if they get healthier, I mean,
And
I don't think what you call it even was dressed for the game. Reese Nelson, right? So yeah.
Tony, what was I going to say? Yeah, the game is on at the same time. Liverpool and Arsenal play the same time slot on Saturday, so that will be
So,
interesting to see if
so
there's any kind of movement or difference. Unfortunately, we couldn't get those extra 2 points to get into the 30s in terms of our points. And we have 4 games to go, 4 Premier League games to go till halfway point. We really need 12 points to be on 41 points at the halfway stage in the league.
Well, where's your little percentage there at, right?
Huh?
So where's your little percentage chart at?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Listen, anything else to say, Tony? We'll get out of here. I dropped the link in for Alonso if he wants to drop in with us, say hello, or anyone else. Stan, anyone else wants to drop in and say hello? The link is in the chat right now. Any final words, Tony? Arsenal in the where are we right now? In the Champions League, we're in a decent position. In the Premier League, we've got some work to do, right?
Yep. I think we're third in both leagues right now. So
third in both leagues, yeah, both situations. One looks healthier than the other, obviously, because you just need to be in the top.
Yeah, we just want to be in the third, but they're
top
both
8 bracket.
Get you where you want to be. So
yeah.
That goal differential is still crazy that you have like 7 teams separated by 1 point.
Yeah. Any final words, Tony?
Nope. More wrestling to watch on Saturday, so another wrestling watch along. Hopefully, this won't be my 3rd consecutive week of doing it by myself.
Oh, you're a pro now.
Yeah.
You're a pro now.
You might send out. Do you send out messages about you're doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. I must miss them. I guess I'm sorry.
Yeah. Gary, any final words yourself? You're doing the show on Saturday.
Who playing again? Everton, right? So
playing Everton.
It's going to be another one of those tough games, right? We're playing Everton. Blah blah blah. No.
Everton used to be
playing Everton at home.
Arteta.
Everton has surprised some teams this season. So we're going to come to play. We should be getting healthier, right? Hopefully, Gabriel and Calafiori are on the mend and hopefully are available. But I don't know if anybody's heard anything about them. But we're fine without them. But it's nice to have them. Let's just say that.
We have 4 games to go in the league now. We need all 4 of those points.
Yeah.
All 4 of those wins. And we need to beat Crystal Palace as well in the Carabao Cup also.
Selhurst Park.
Selhurst Park. You gotta love it. All right, Gary, thanks for being here and joining in the chat. I enjoyed this one tonight. Tony was lively, and then when we asked him pertinent questions, he went very, very quiet at one stage.
The best is like he doesn't like talking about things in the past.
David Coote.
That's old news, right, Tony?
You want to keep Tony quiet? You mentioned David Coote for some reason. The links will not go away, Tony.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of here. We'll see you on Sunday and Saturday. 2 shows on Saturday with Tony, one Gary, and one back here on Sunday. Take care, everyone. We shall see you out there. Come on,
everywhere.